on time. So record on this computer, get it uploaded later. Energy, guys. Welcome to Leadership Academy number 4 for the Great Plains Division. How's everybody doing? Yeah. All right, it's a lot better than last time. Welcome. My name's Nick Matlack. I'm your host and division manager. It's a good thing to manage the division. That's my title. And I just want to let you guys know I'm fired up for today. We're going to have a really exciting opportunity for us to grow. And we've got an action-packed agenda, as is usual. Man, so many great things going on right now. A couple of weeks ago, we came back from SLC, stands for Strategic Leadership Conference. This was in St. Louis. Our company put on an event to the absolute extreme. By the way, we stayed at the Union Square, a hotel, which is the old train station there. We also rented out the entire Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, Missouri factory for a night, and we went there with 400 to 500 people. We ate dinner. We got to see the Clydesdales. We got to see everything. It was awesome. Got to see a tour of the factory as well. Our company fed us the most delicious food. We had food breaks like every couple hours. We were able to network and communicate and meet with people, get more information, and all of those talks, every single one has been uploaded to Vector Connect. So you have access to listen to it and learn from it. So ask your DM, ask me what was my favorite message, and we'll post it out there on the GroupMe for you. That being said, in addition to that, our company spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. We paid for the entire thing, all the flights, all the transportation, all the food, all the hotels, right? That's how cool the company is that you work for. And I'll just remind everybody, #GoDM, right? Because then you can be a part of that too. And every year it's a different location. For those of you that are considering going to be a district manager next year the location is going to be in San Diego. Last time we went to San Diego, by the way, the special event, we rented out the entire aircraft carrier on the harbor there for an entire night. We got to tour the museum and all the planes, and we went on the top and we ate dinner on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier in the San Diego harbor, right? Like that's how cool our company is, right? So just understand that happens once a year. It's always in October, and I can't wait to see our division continue to build as we move forward. We have Olean coming up. Anybody fired up about the Olean trip? Woo! Yes, just one person. That's exciting. Definitely, it's going to be great, right? And I'm really fired up about that too. By the way, when it comes to that Olean trip, it is going to be a blast. We've got people going, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So I do want to just talk a little bit about the people we've got. And I want to brag a little bit about Great Plains Division. There has never been a place where I've been more proud of the people that are in our company than who we've got right now. And yesterday, I was honored to be, a part of the DM Day that we put together. I had Bailey Homan, I had Tyler Daniels, I had Carissa Blevins, and I had Melissa Bender there. Ayame Palmer, stopped by, and it's on recording now forever. But we were all together, and what's cool is we got to talk about just what we're really envisioning for the future of this company. And I want you to write down a few hashtags. I got these from SLC. This will be the first thing to put down in your notes. But the first hashtag we talked about was vector trained. And what that means, when you're vector trained, you do things differently. When you're vector trained, right, you're able to overcome obstacles. Vector trained means that you're resilient, you're adaptable, you're flexible. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, right? But vector trained people get what they want to in life, and they go far in life, right? Another thing I would write down is #skills for life. The skills you're gaining from a company like ours are skills that are adaptable and implementable into anything you ever do in your future. So putting those down on your resume allows you to be light years ahead of your competition. In my opinion, if you do vector the right way, you'll be a decade ahead of your peers moving into any job field you want for your future, right? Another hashtag you can write down is selling is simple. I think that some of us forgot that selling Cutco can be simple. I'm not saying it's easy, right? But it's definitely not hard. We have the #1 product in the universe. And we got to realize that if we just go out there and follow the freaking program, guess what? People buy it. People buy it, but we just got to go out there and do it, right? The #1 reason why you're not selling is because you're not putting it in front of people. It's not because people aren't buying. People aren't going to buy unless you show it, right? So selling is simple. And my favorite one that I've kind of created right now is this, and that is #it's a forever thing. By the way, I'm so deeply convicted in where I work and what I do and what we're going towards and working towards right now. I want you to really understand most of our offices right now are in growth when it comes to either recruiting or sales, right? We're over $1.7 million in sales for the year for the division. And we've got 12 weeks left to finish off the year strong. Last year we did 2.4 million. So we're going to need a strong finish from everybody in here to keep that growth track alive. And just so we're clear, I've never had a down year as a manager for 13 years straight. Well, I guess 10, because that's how long I've run an office. Worked here for 10 years straight. I don't want this to be the first year, right? So we've got to have an aggressive focus for these last 12 weeks as we move into next year. When I think about it's a forever thing, I think about how we have a forever guarantee, yes. But let's talk about how the skills that you gain here are going to last you forever too, right? And you're going to be 60, 70 years old, still utilizing the mindset and the things that you learned all the way back when you worked for Vector Marketing. So we're in a very special place. And I got to remind you, they're in the right place at the right time with the right types of people. By the way, it's not just our managers that are growing right now, right? It's also our CSP team. If you didn't know anything about our CSP team, we're in growth by over 20%. And just so you know, the CSP team between Texoma and Great Plains Division made up more than 50% of last year's sales. In fact, out of the 1.7 million we have right now, right, over 1.1 million of that is, guess what? You guessed it, right? CSP business. Isn't that insane? And when I think about that, I think about how I was just talking to somebody, Carlton Thompson. You know what his last 3 paychecks were? His last 3 paychecks broke down to a total of $15,000 in income. His last 3 weeks, in 21 days, after expenses, after charges, he's had $15,000 directly deposited into his account. That's growth, baby, right? And exciting. When I think about also the programs and the opportunities that are available for that opportunity, it's pretty exciting too. I think about the fact that OKC State Fair, if you didn't hear, $320,000 in sales in the matter of just 12 days, right? Pretty exciting. We also had the Tulsa State Fair of $150,000, and there's the last 4 days right now of the Texas State Fair down in Dallas, and currently they have already done over $700,000 in business just at the booth, and they're projecting that they will have their first ever $1 million year just at that one event.
That's insane.
That means between those 3 shows collectively, in the matter of 6 weeks, our CSP team will do over $1.5 million in CPO. I would want to be a part of that crew and part of that team. And you know what? We just need more layers. That's the biggest thing that is limiting us right there with the State Fair team. I also want to love on Britton. I know he's going to be going to Olean, but Britton just reached his $100,000 milestone. Britton also just eclipsed $50,000 for his year, which is very exciting, going after $100K for the fall. And he too has made some pretty fat paychecks over the last few weeks. So again, just some major recognition. And one last thing I want to love on is the pilot and Ayame Palmer. I just want to congratulate her. We were in SLC, although the pilot doesn't get to go. The pilot was the number 11 overall office in total recruits for a 5-week contest in the nation in the company, right? So we were able to go up there. We won an award. We got a prize. We just can't plug it in because they didn't send us the charger, but it's pretty cool. So we got everything else, but it changes colors. It's an LED lit up sign for BMW because when you become a DM, you get to drive one of these sweet machines, and it has an engraved brass plate that says Push Week SLC 33. Interesting fact, by the way, the same number of years I am is the same number of times SLC has been run. So pretty sweet, right? I thought that was cool when I was sitting there taking notes. And then the last thing on this is we also in the pilot were the number 3 overall office in pilot sales in the entire company. And just a little brag, we beat Drew Frank. So pretty exciting, right? Drew even came up to me and he looked at me and he gave me a hug and he's like, "Did you just beat me for an SLC contest?" I was like, "I guess so," right? So it's pretty exciting, but thank you very much to Ayame. So let's give all of our champions and leaders a big round of applause. Great job. And we're fired up for you. I want to transition into next year. I want you to write down 2020 vision, right? Yeah, it's a little bit of a play, a little bit of a pun there, right? But 2020 vision. Let's talk about next year. What is the future vision of our organization? When I came out here, we grew up from basically nothing to over 2.4 million in 3 years. My mission in the next 3 years is to grow more than we have in the last 3 years, which is going to be more challenging, right? Because not only do we have to produce that same amount of business, but we got to go above it. And the way we're going to make that happen is with one main mission, and that is 1 million in growth a year. 1 million in growth a year. Are you plugged in? Are you tied into an organization that's going to be growing by 1 million a year? And by the way, when you think about that, only doing 2.4 million last year, and we'll probably get close to that same number this year, what's it going to look like when, right, we're an organization that's literally growing by over, right, or close to 50% every year? You talk to any business owner and talk about growing their business by anything more than even 10%, and they're going to say, "How the heck did you do that?" You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about here. And I want to tell you that in order to make that happen, there's a few things. You've heard these before, but please jot them down. Number 1, no one quits. So number 1 is what?
No one quits.
No one quits. Nobody quits. Nobody gives up. That means that if you're running an office right now, you're running an office this time next year. It means that everybody sticks around no matter what your results are. And it means that you stick with it. No one quits. By the way, that also transforms into our staffing, into our Leadership Academy people. No one quits. And when I think about this, we got 5 offices open right now. We need 5 open next year. And we need those people that are open right now being the veterans next year, taking it to a whole nother level and being those pillars that we need. The next thing you can write down is we need full development, or full deployment. Many of you know this, but a full deployed division is 20 in Lloyd's mind, right? In my mind, it's a minimum of 15. And what that means is we need 10 people to open up offices. And we currently have 15 candidates that are legitimately over a level 5 out of 10 qualified to be able to run one. But we need 10 of those people definitely opening up. Because when we have 5 that are active and we get 10 more open up, we'll have 15 offices. Our record right now with my leadership is 11 offices in our division that are open. When we get to 15, we'll go up by 4 over our biggest we've ever had. And this year we only had 7. So we'll literally more than double our offices for next summer than we had this year. By the way, how much more fun is competition, right? How much bigger are the conferences? How much less travel time do we have to have because we can actually compete against ourselves instead of driving 6 hours? I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but just think about that, right? And how many more people can we have in this same meeting this time next year because of that hard work and because of the massive summer, right? So again, 10 plus offices, new managers have to open. Number 3, you've heard it before, but it's full staffing. Every office has 7 assistant managers. If you're a district, every office as a branch has 4 assistant managers. I was talking to a guy named David Romero. David Romero is currently number 1 in his Silver Cup race. And as a new district manager, did over $400,000 in sales in his first 4 months. You know what that means? It means in his first 4 months, he also earned and generated over $100,000 in revenue. Not bad when you're only 19 years old opening your first business. In your first 3 to 4 months, you generate over 100 G's. Now, I asked him, how'd you do it? And he said, well, my first training class, I had 7 people who launched. And at the end of training before they left, I promoted them all to an assistant manager in training because I had no staff and I needed 7 on staff. So it made sense to me. Now, not everybody made it, but even at this point, he's over 500,000 for the year. Every single week, David Romero, when somebody hits their first promotion, takes them out for lunch. And he talks to them about the opportunity of development, advancement, and leadership academy. And I said, dude, how many lunches do you do? And he's like, I don't know. I have 6 throughout the week. So I guess 6, right? But every single day he goes out to lunch, he takes somebody with him, right? That's somebody who's loyal about building their business. That's somebody who also understands the recruiting funnel. Let's not be fooled, right? Everything we do is recruiting. We have to hire a lot more people than we actually want to launch, don't we? Well, the same thing's true when you're developing people. You've got to promote a lot more people to the opportunity to advance and move up than people you actually want to stick. That never goes away. Everything we do is a recruiting process, right? So if you're running an office or you're planning to, what is your system to be fully staffed? If David Romero can do it on the second day of training on his first week open, anybody can do it, right? Within a couple of weeks. Make sense? And the last and final thing is something that we're in right now, and that's a push. So we're in a what?
Push.
And if we're in a push right now, we got 7 days before Olean happens. And if you're not going to Olean, hey, no matter what, you still need to perform well, right? Because everybody's being watched by Lloyd. But what I want you to write down as our last big pillar for $1 million in growth next year is its push period excellence. We have so many push periods throughout the year, and we don't have a push culture. You might think we do because we promote it and we brand it, but a push culture is where things change dramatically. That's what we're looking for, right? We're not looking for a little bit of growth. Our pushes, sometimes you look on our quantums, you can't really tell. But when you look at another division's quantum, you can look at that division going from a $100,000 a week to a $250,000 a week. You can look at out of the 6 main push periods throughout the year, which are January program that's coming up to where you have a trip for 4 days, 3 nights, all inclusive that you can win, right? We also have the March Madness one that happens in the spring, right? Then we have the one that happens in May to kick off the summer. We have SC1, we have SC2, and then we have Olean push, right? Those are the 6 main push periods. Those 6 pushes should generate 30% of our annual sales. So let me just share with you, what does that mean, right? Well, that means if we're looking for 3.5 million in sales next year, that means that's over $1 million in just the matter of 6 to 7 weeks throughout the year. That's what a push culture looks like, right? And we're going to talk about that in our future division meetings and Leadership Academy. Sound fair? So yesterday we did a really cool exercise, and what we came up with is what Great Plains is all about. So I'm really fired up to present this to you. Those of you on the recording, please make sure you put this in your notes as well. But here's what it is, right? Our mission statement is not complete yet, but here's what we know. Great Plains Division, our tagline is a great place to grow. Great Plains Division is a great place to what?
Grow.
And at the end of the day, I think what attracts most of us to Vector Marketing is the growth. What type of growth that is, well, that's up to you. But when somebody goes through our interview or through our PR system or through our training, whatever it is, if they leave knowing that they've grown, they're a better version of themselves than they were when they came through, we've done our job. We need to accept that not everybody's going to like the job or do the job or stick with the job, and that's okay. But we need to be committed to showing up at our level 10 best, right? 100% responsible for everything in our business, 0 excuses not to, and we need to be focused on growth, right? It's okay to not hit your goal as long as you grew, right? It's okay for things to not go your way as long as you learn something and you grew. It's all about growth. Does that make sense? And in order to get that done, we talked about how we need to have anchors. Now, in the past 3 years, you've heard me speak about our 4 anchors, right? And I had these memorized. I talked about them a lot. I said outworking the competition and being consistent and making sure you always show up, even when you don't feel like it, right? And having fun. And while I think those were good, I don't think that they really represent and emulate what we need in order to take it over $5 million in the next 3 years. So we did a big brainstorming session yesterday, and I'm really proud to announce that we came up with what we're calling our 5 strategic anchors. So I'd like you to jot these down in your notes. I'd like you to think about how these apply to you and your business as you build forward. Number 1 anchor that we have is commitment to growth. And a lot of you have had a PC with me recently, and I talked about the word commitment and what that really means. How committed are you to growing personally and becoming the best version of yourself? Because your business will seldom exceed your level of personal growth and development, right? How committed are you to growing as a professional, to really mastering the fundamentals and the basics in a business like ours, and actually doing the things that you know you ought to do, following through with that, right? And the last thing is, how are you committed to your financial growth? Establishing savings habits. Not saying, oh, I didn't save anything this week, but saying no matter what, I will save $5 every week or $20 every week. I think we could all find a way to make that happen, right? And if we're just saving, hey, that habit is far more important than the amount. There should never be a week that goes by in your life that you didn't save some money. I don't care if you work for Vector or not. Every day of your life, every week of your life, find a way to save something. And then the key is after it's saved, don't spend it. Money now is going to be worth a heck of a lot more 10 years from now. Money saved now will be worth a lot more when you retire. So personal, professional, and financial growth and commitment to that growth. Make sense? Number 2, strategic anchor is people first mentality. I think that one thing that I love most about Vector Marketing is its servitude to its people. When I say servitude to its people, it's how we respect our employees in Olean. It's how we treat them. I think that's very obvious when you look at the 172 factory workers, and our average person has been with us for 19 years. There's a waiting list to work in our factory because people don't leave. When you're talking about steel workers, that's not normal. When I think about people first mentality, I think about how we serve and show up for our reps, our applicants, how we go above and beyond what's the norm and what's expected. We do things like training confirmation calls. We show up for them when they need us most. We put them first, and we always make time. People first mentality. The greatest asset that our company and our division has right now is its what?
People.
That's our greatest investment. It's our greatest asset. People are your greatest investment in any company. And we are a people company. So with everything you do, how are you putting your reps in your office first? How are you putting your customers first? How are you thinking about the fact that Cutco is well worth it? I was just talking to Quentin, and I was saying, dude, when you come back from the Olean, you're going to be blown away at how we can afford to charge such a cheap price for Cutco and still pay everyone. And Quentin's like, I was thinking about that. The people that make 50%, that means the other 50%, we still have to pay Lloyd and you and all the people that make it and the factory. And like, he just started going off. And I didn't even say anything about that. He did. And I was like, yeah, dude, like a trimmer for $70. I don't know how we only charge $70. You think Cutco's expensive? Are you kidding me? It's so freaking affordable compared to how much money we spend to manufacture and keep that product. Did you know that last year we spent over $5 million on free product with our Forever Guarantee? Do you know that we get 500 packages a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year in our factory for refurbishing or resharpening? And that's only going to go up as we continue to build our business. And we love it. It's the best investment we can make. People first mentality, yes? Number 3, strategic anchor. Show up as your best. It's not a question of if you're going to show up. It's a question of how. Of course you're going to show up. You work in our corporation. Always showing up, that was like giving you an option. It's not a question of if, it's a question of how. And when you show up, what does your best look like? When you show up to a meeting, how are you dressed? How early are you? What's your mindset going in? When you show up to everything that you do, your phone time, your PC, are you at your level 10 best? The only person who knows what your best looks like is you. Well, I'm not my best today, but others won't notice. Maybe they won't know. I don't need to be honest about it. Well, you know what? You'll know. You'll know. So with everything you do in an organization and a business like yours, like ours, show up at your level 10 best. And what are you doing to grow that level 10 best every day? By the way, your level 10 best is way better than it was before you found Vector, guaranteed. And your level 10 best is not at the limit. There's always room for progress and momentum and growth. I love that about life. Life would be pretty boring if it were easy, if it were basic, if everything just went your way, wouldn't it? Most of us wouldn't really enjoy the process of living. So we got to think about that, right? With everything you do, how do you show up as your absolute best? Number 4 is to pursue best practices. This really has to do with knowing that if you're going to be your best, you should also be doing the best things, right? And these are the hows behind the whats. If you're going to make PR calls, are you making PR calls with the best PR script? Pursuing best practices means that you reach out. It means that you don't look at the standings and the competition and the top 10 board right now for the office and say, gosh, I hate these people beating me. Instead, you look at that and you say, what are they doing that I'm not? How can I learn from them? It means when you're in a silver cup race, you don't look at the top 10 in your category and say, gosh, these people are better than me. You look at that and you say, because that they've got better results, doesn't mean they're better than me, but clearly they're performing best practices. So I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to, right, learn and burn. And that's something I've kept for a long time. I want to learn something from somebody else, and then I want to get so good at that something that I burn them at their own talent. I love that. When I can follow somebody who's great at something that's in their first place, and I can take it, steal it, and make it better, and then beat them at their own game. That feels great. Yes or yes? There's nothing better that feels better than beating your trainer, right? We just talked about beating Drew, right? I love Drew. He's my best friend who's in my wedding. But man, it feels so great for somebody who's been so darn successful in our company to be able to say, yeah, I won that one, right? It's the only one I've won, but I won that one, right? It feels good, yes? So I'm talking about pursuing best practices, not questioning, by the way, the program, questioning your implementation of the program. How well are you implementing the stuff you're learning? Oh, that stuff doesn't work for me. Well, how do you know if it works for you if you never implemented it? Yeah, 5 before and 5 after, that's just not my thing, Nick. If you've never done it for a long period of time, how do you know? Well, I tried it one time and nobody answered. Oh, cool. All right, well, that was a good test. Like, let's be real, right? Getting back to pursuing best practices. And the last thing I love most is all about integrity. And here's what it is. It's doing the right thing. By the way, doing the right thing by yourself, doing the right thing by your team, doing the right thing by your people, by your customers. And you know why you do the right thing? Because it's the right thing to do. That's why you do the right thing. I believe that anytime you're in a sticky situation or you have a challenge that you face and you don't know what to do, I actually believe you do know what to do. I believe we all really do know the right thing to do. Now, the real question is not if you know the right thing to do. The real question is, are you going to have the integrity level to follow through with the right thing to do? A rep comes through and they've got a lot of no sales. You don't want to pay out the base pay. You give them the benefit of the doubt, and then you have the tough conversation, but they get that check. Somebody wins a prize, but then they haven't been answering your calls, so you're a little salty about that, right? Not what you guys use these days, salty, a little salty about that. So you're like, well, I didn't give them the prize until they answer my call. What have you done for me lately? Because that's going to get you really far in life. You understand that? We all know the right thing to do. The question is, are you doing the right thing? And I believe that in our organization, in our division, if we can create the culture that's based around commitment to growth, people first mentality, showing up as your best, pursuing best practices, and doing the right thing, we can take this thing well over $5 million. And when I think about an organization that I want to be a part of, that I want to lead, it's an organization that has those as its strategic anchors and mission statement. Now, if you've got any ideas and adjustments, this isn't written in stone. It's not like it can never change, right? Please text me. Please share that with me. Maybe you have a disagreement with one of the things we have, or you have an idea of a better thing that we could do too. But those are our 5 strategic anchors. I'm going to challenge you to memorize them. And I'm going to challenge you to focus on doing them with everything that you do, both in and outside of your business. Sound fair? I had a whole thing about what it's going to take to get to $1 million, but I think that was a little bit better. And so what I want to talk about now is our personal development. I want you to write down for October. We got Halloween coming up, and Halloween's designed to be the scariest holiday of the year, right? Spooky season. So let's talk about the word scare. Let's talk about the word fear. What fears do you have right now? When's the last time you talked about them? When's the last time you shared them? What are you scared of? What's holding you back? You might want to make that list. And if you want something that will help you get over your fears faster than anything else that I've experienced in my 33-year life, here's what I'll tell you. It's a book. And it's a book by a guy named Mark Madison. And the book is called Freedom from Fear. By the way, it's only a 100-page read. I'm not somebody who initially enjoyed reading. In fact, I made it through most of high school not reading any of the books, just reading the Cliff Notes and talking to the smartest kids in class and still getting a 4.2 GPA, which in the moment I thought was a highlight of my life. And now it's one of the lowlights because I held myself back from becoming the best me. Now I'm a firm believer in reading because readers are leaders. And in this book, it talks about the meeting of a lifetime. A rush hour fender bender on a sweltering summer day is usually not a positive experience. But when Steve, who is depressed and miserable, literally runs into Lynn on a especially bad day, the stage is set for a life-changing experience of the first magnitude. Steve has unwittingly placed himself in the hands of a master motivator and attitude adjuster as Steve begins to improve his outlook and his life. He starts to see the ways in which Lynn has touched the lives of countless others. Lynn waits to these pages, and he has a message for you too. Read Freedom from Fear and let him change your life today. It's a story. And by the way, it's not about one meeting. These guys start to go out to coffee. It's based on a true story, and they go out about every week for an hour. And it talks about all the lessons that Lynn taught. By the way, the book starts from Lynn's funeral. Lynn's dead. And this book is a memoir of all the things that he taught to Steve before he died. I highly encourage you to at least get the book. If you're not going to, find the audiobook. And it's one of those books that I couldn't put down. It's one of those books where every page I was highlighting things, they were valuable to my life, and there were 100 pages, which means there's at least 100 lessons. You want to get over your fears right now? Read that book. I hadn't read a book in years, and I knocked that one out in less than a week. You're never too busy to learn. You're never too busy to grow. And I would start there. So in addition to this, here's an assignment. I would write down your major goals for the fall in 2020. After writing down those goals and those commitments that you have for yourself, in addition to that, I would write down what scares you most about that goal. What is the goal and what are the fears holding you back? And then just think, what's one thing I could do to minimize that fear? I got 4 ideas for you, but one of them is to talk more about it. It's amazing how fears are not so scary when you just talk about them. You had a nightmare. Cool, let's talk about it. What happened in the nightmare? I don't really remember. All right, well, if you did know, what would it be? What do you remember? Let's talk about it, and all of a sudden the nightmare is not so scary anymore, right? I do that with my kids as a father. Okay, here's another way to handle it. Game plan around it. Well, if that's my fear, what can I do to overcome it? Put together a plan, write it out, get people on your side to support you and help you and hold you accountable. Here's another opportunity. You can just ignore it. By the way, you could. A lot of us have gone further just by ignoring things. Eventually it catches up with you, right? That is an option. One of the best ones I have is to embrace it. Lean into your fears. I'm scared of you, but I'm not too scared to run away. I personally don't like scary movies. I hate haunted houses. That's not my thing, right? But when I go through those in a place of fear, they're worse. And I hate them more. When I go through them laughing and just like enjoying myself and embracing the fact that I'm in a scary place and that's the whole point, they're not so scary anymore, right? So take advantage of the environment. Take advantage of the season of fear, right? And lean into your fears, figure them out, and overcome them, no doubt. We got 5 minutes left before we jump into our first guest speaker. By the way, I can't wait to hear all of your highlights, all of your takeaways on Freedom from Fear. By the way, it's checked Amazon as well. You can buy a used copy for literally less than $10. I'll pay for that if that's really how bad your financial situation is. Does that make sense? But honestly, I don't know any parent that wouldn't spend $8 on their kid to help them grow and overcome their fears. Yes? Just go and ask your parents. Ask for an early Christmas gift. It's $8. Or just don't go to Chick-fil-A next time. Quentin. All right, so anyway, moving forward. Olean trip promotion. I want to recognize our individuals that are officially qualified and signed up for Olean. There are some individuals that have already been, including Ayame and Claire. We don't want to forget those guys, but you can't go twice, right, unless you run your own office and you've got strong development. But they've already been, and they are fired up. So if you're in the room or if you're on Zoom right now, please stand up. But I do want to recognize the following individuals. First off, we have Britton Northcutt, pretty fired up. By the way, 100K in sales, 602 in savings. One clap for Britton, 1, 2, 3. We have Quentin. Quentin, stand up and stay standing. Quentin Scott, 15,000 in sales and just submitted 225 bucks. Post that on GroupMe to his startup, over 650 bucks now in savings. One clap, 1, 2, 3. Stay standing. We have Alex Smith, 8K in sales and 450 bucks in startup, building that number. One clap, 1, 2, 3. We have Tommy Henn, stand up, 6K in sales, 150 in startup, but has a game plan to get that over 600. We know we're going to make it happen as a district manager candidate. So fired up for him. One clap for Tommy. 1, 2, 3. With Brandon Cobb, stand up, $37,000 in career sales, 360 in savings, has a game plan to get that over 600, and just sold 600 bucks for Push recently. So great job. One clap, Brandon. 1, 2, 3. We have Adam Goff out of the Fayetteville area, 10K in sales, over 320 in savings, and he's got a game plan to build that number as well. One clap, 1, 2, 3. Maddie Harris, 11K in sales, 450 in startup, and she'll be building that over 600. One clap, 1, 2, 3. Kinsey Borelli, 10K in sales, 650 in startup, and fired up for taking the next step. One clap, 1, 2, 3. Vanessa Rose, 9K in sales, and she's got less than 100 in startup. We've got a game plan to get her there, so fired up for her. One clap, 1, 2, 3. We got Daniel, stay standing. Daniel, by the way, out of the South Tulsa office, 5K in sales and less than 100 in startup, but working towards that. One clap, 1, 2, 3. Thaddeus out of the North Tulsa office, 10K in sales and 135 in startup. One clap for him. 1, 2, 3. We have Eric Soto out of the pilot, 55,000 in sales, over 600 in savings. That's what happens when you run a top branch. One clap for him. 1, 2, 3. Be the second time he goes. First time was for a branch, second time district candidate. And then we have Olivia Fundingsland. I say it right? No, sorry, my bad. I don't know who I was thinking about. My Olivia Van Duzer. I had a rep that was Fundingsland in the past, and when I saw Olivia, I just wasn't thinking. But hey, you know what? If you need a new last name, let me know. So anyway, I apologize. Completely not right. Olivia Van Duzer's 3K in sales and over 3,500 sales. Sorry, over 100 startup. And we're fired up for her as well. Let's give all of our Olean attendees a big round of applause. Congratulations on winning and making the trip, and we're fired up for you. By the way, if I just said your name, if you're listening to this recording, sooner the better, you can text me this. Please bust out your phone. Please text me right now. Next year's trip, if you didn't hear, we're about to watch a video on it, but it's to Madrid, Spain, and we have a promotional video all about it. We also got beautiful long sleeve black shirts that say Madrid that have the Vector logo for the A, and it's got like a Red Bull because they do Running of the Bulls, and the date it has Vector Marketing's logo on the back. It's dope. They're super comfy. I forgot to bring one today. However, I am buying all of you one if you are going to Olean, or if you've been to Olean before but you're one of the candidates. So either one of those that applies, I definitely want to make sure we get you a shirt. They are expensive, but I'm willing to make that investment into you, and you need to text me your shirt size. We have anywhere, I believe, from I think we have extra small all the way to double XL. They're only one, like they're not gender specific, right? Male, female, whatever. So just figure it out, right? Whatever it is. I think they're male sizes, right? So you just got to, adjust and plan accordingly. Cool. So how to prepare for Olean? Well, first off, finish push strong. So finish push what? Strong. Don't be a pansy, right? You got 7 days left. So get the most out of those 7 days. Show up with a strong report, 2,500 in sales to be recognized. Don't be the one not being recognized. Number 2, sell your Olean homemaker. Get it out of the way, right? Here's the deal. The sooner you get that done, the sooner the charges go away. And by the way, I don't really like charges on my account. Well, guess what? That's part of running a business. Business costs money. So get used to it. Instead of looking at that and saying, I don't want charges, instead say, hey, how can I handle the charges that I have? And some charge that all of you, I believe, should have right now is the NET meeting. NET stands for National Events Training. It replaces the old RDC that happened in May, and it's the only time of year that everyone rep nationwide gets together year-round. By the way, it's going to be in January 28th through the 30th. It's in San Antonio, Texas. There's a cost to attend. But if you sign up now, it's like $20 a week. Sign up now. Go. There's no sales quota to go. You could be at 3K and you could go to that. and it's a great investment and a tax write-off into your business, right? So if you don't know about it, learn about it. Go on to Vector Connect, click the link, right? Learn about it and sign up. The sooner you get signed up, the better, and the cheaper it is, not to mention in addition to that, by signing up, right? You also get some free product by going. You can look into that in the future. So pretty exciting. Number 3, show up the right way. What do I mean by showing up the right way? Level 10 best, mindset, right? Skill set. How do you look physically? By the way, we're going to the home mecca of our factory. I'm talking dress your best. Like, I'll be in a 3-piece suit with a tie. There's no way I'm going to lunch with the executives and not looking my best. I'm representing our entire division, and you better believe that you are too. Now, there'll be times for fun and casual attire, but when we're in meetings, you're looking your best. You're looking like you're taking your next level photo for 5 years, right? That you're going to have on your business card. Cool? So I want you to make sure you're prepared for that. If you have an issue with that with attire, let's talk. Let's figure it out. But again, everybody needs to be their best. Cool? And the last one is iron your suit, iron your clothes. Make sure that you look good. Again, those little things, they do make the difference and they matter. Sound fair? All right, guys. Well, other than that, I'm going to bring up our first guest speaker, and that is going to be Bailey Homan out of the Norman office. Bailey being the pilot that took our organization to the top. First ever to do $1 million in sales in the Great Plains division. First ever to do 1.5 and 1.8 million. Not bad growth numbers. And now eclipsing over $100,000 in his first 5 months. And he's in a position this fall where he is working his butt off to double his monthly bonus. Every time he hits monthly bonus, he gets double that, which means it's a lot harder for me to make money than it is for Bailey. I'm so jealous. And I know that there have been managers, including myself, that have gotten monthly bonus because it was doubled for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. There's even a manager named Danny. Danny Feldman got a monthly bonus for over $10,000 because of his performance as a new district manager his first fall. All new DMs get double monthly bonus in their fall for doing that, and we're fired up to have him. He's going to be playing the Madrid video right afterwards. I'll be bringing him up, or he'll be up here talking about social media and the difference it can make in your organization, and then we'll dive into the rest of the agenda. Forgot to bring that up earlier. Too late now. So I'm going to go ahead and go on Zoom. Bailey, if you don't mind, I'm just going to share the video now and play it. Perfect. And then I love that. So one thing that I love about Vector Marketing is our ability to travel. And man, travel is good. Travel is fun. But there's nothing like Vector travel. And if there's anybody that can talk about that, it is definitely Bailey Homan. Bailey's been to some incredible places. He'll probably tell you about those. And the next big place that we'll be attending is going to be in Madrid, Spain. So if this is loaded properly, I will full screen it. You guys can check it out. And can you guys still see? Dustin, give me a thumbs up. Can you see my screen? You're good? All right, sweet. Thank you.
White shirt, now red, my blood, no sleeping. You're on your tippy toes, creeping around like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you. Oh, please, I do what I want when I'm wanting to. I'm so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make you come in that type, and sit with your that type. I'm the gold teeth, my neck, my wrist is froze. I got no ice, then there's no black guy. Don't act like you don't know that guy. So critical. Tattoos on both my sleeves. Yeah, I don't sleep. Please don't with me. Losing my title, so I can breathe it. Political. Oh no. Yeah, I'm a bad guy, ain't no more than bad guy. No one like a bad guy, always such a bad guy. Yeah, I'm the real side, all the real side. Come on, it feels like I don't feel right. I'm the bad guy. Whoa,
Oh, come on. This.
Cool. Everyone see me okay? Thumbs up. Awesome, guys. Well, I just want to tell you guys about social media and what it can do to help you to win Madrid.
First off, sorry, who's fired up about it? Like, let's be honest, right? How baller is that? 7-day trip, all inclusive. Then you better tell us when you
I was getting there, you know, before you rudely interrupt everything. But it's okay. So guys, yes, you know, for me, social media has been definitely the thing that has got me to every one of these trips because of a couple key people that I ended up getting from there. And so before this job, guys, I've never traveled absolutely anywhere, never even been on a plane before Vector. And I've been to Munich, Germany was the very first trip that I go with on the company. The second one was Cayman Islands and then Puerto Vallarta. And then now I've been to Canada and all over the place. And so literally, these trips are amazing. I hardly had to pay for absolutely anything other than gifts for my family and friends that I had to bring back because the company pays for all of it. Also, I just love the networking ability that is there, especially when we went to St. Louis just a couple of weeks ago and getting to be with 300 of all of the district managers in the entire company, getting to talk with Jim, getting to talk with Bruce, getting to talk with all of the presidents, and just understanding where they've been and them being able to help all of us out. But the key thing that is going to help you to winning this and just also getting your business off to an amazing start is your social media program. And so think about this. With your social media, the average PPR for social media right now is 2,700. That means every recruit that we're getting from there is selling at least 2,700 from that. Now, building up into it, some of the programs before we jump into the, when you guys open your office, we'll have an entire Facebook jumpstart of how to work it and how to work everything. I'm just here to tell you a little bit more of how it can help benefit you right now onto building up those systems so it'll work for you. And so think about having a team of every one of you guys that are in here that have all sold already. Think about having a Zane Howe, some of you guys that don't know him, but he sold just under 40,000 in a matter of 2 months because of social media and where we got him. And all this can do for you is literally, like it says, jumpstart your business to where it needs to be. And so a couple of things that you can write down is 55-5. This is something that you can be doing now to start building that up. 55-5 is every single day, you should be sending 50 messages out to everyone on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, whatever else that is out there. But if you're sending those 50 messages, that is you doing your recruiting activity of trying to get people on. The next for the 5 is booking your 5. And that is your 5 PRs on who you're recruiting. Again, we're all on here to help build our team so that we're able to go out there and crush and win all of these different trips. And the next 5 is 5 ahead. How many your demos do you have ahead? Every one of you guys should be selling because we are an all-in push with it too. And so if you're doing these things, well, not only are you recruiting for yourself, but you're also building your sales so that you're at a higher conviction level when you're opening your office. What does it feel like for you guys to have hit Dirty 30 twice, not just this campaign, but next campaign? You're adding $20,000 onto your sales. So whatever you're at right now, what does it feel and look like for you to add 20,000 sales to your career sales? What does that look like for your savings? What does that look like for your confidence? What can that do for you guys? And so post daily on your Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and these don't have to be all work related. Kind of the general outline in a week, you should post twice about the work opportunity on how you're recruiting it. The other things is, how are you growing personally? What are you posting out there? I know that for the last week now, I've posted out, what all the 15 habits of millionaires all have in common. You know, I posted out just motivational quotes to help out people because we're attracted to our culture. And the Facebook is just another culture that you get to do for yourself and how you're going to be able to portray what your organization is. And so how do you want your organization to be? And are you hitting those daily standards? When it looks like it, what it looks like for getting one applicant in is sending 10 messages. That means if we're sending 50 messages daily, we're at least going to get 5 people a day on average from that. Well, that is at least 35 people that you're signing just from Facebook. That's not even including your own PRs that you're going to be doing, any of Conveyor, and then of course Craigslist and mailers and everything else that's going to come from it. So what does that do? It adds on that next layer of business for you. By the way, don't get discouraged on the law if you're not getting any responses. There will be days where no one's going to respond to you, but then there'll be a day where literally every single person you message is going to message back and have the application for yourself. And so it's about the daily and weekly activities that you're doing with it. And so a couple things, or one thing that you can write down on what it would look like for you guys on sending the message. Here's a couple of templates, and it just sounds like this. Hello, Kinsey. Quick question. Do you know anyone or yourself who might be looking for work, part-time or full-time, who also might be looking for resume builder, extra cash, scholarship, or maybe just a flexible schedule? Starting pay is $18 base rate. Let me know if you or anyone's interested. The other one, and I'll say that again. Hello, Kinsey. Quick question. Do you know anyone or yourself who might be looking for work, part-time or full-time, who might also be looking for a resume builder, some extra cash, scholarship opportunities, or just a flexible schedule? Starting pay is $18. Message me to let me know you're interested. By the way, just because they're not interested, they could be a promoter for you to post on their Facebook. And now you have multiple people posting out your post or getting recruits on because of the one message that you sent out to them. And by the way, we're all on social media. Can we agree? Yeah. And by the way, we're all looking at pointless stuff on there and all the dumb videos and everything else. So why aren't you the person that is posting out things that is beneficial for not just the people that are reading it, but for you? You know, I'm really big into my church, and I've got this person that I'm following. I cannot think of the name to save my life right now, but I absolutely love his videos, and they're not just helping out towards, you know, just the church, but he has motivational videos talking about how it's helped him in life and what things are happening. So are you personally growing yourself and being able to grow people on Facebook? That's what they're going to be attracted to. On this, a big thing that you guys can also do is, are you doing triple threat? And this is going to help you out with your social media, because if you're sending these messages out and you're getting these recruits, well, guess who gets PR credit for them? You do. So these are all of your people that you can get on. It's like, man, I don't have any friends. I don't know how it's going to get these 3 people. Awesome. Jump on Facebook, jump on Instagram, jump on Snapchat. All of these tools to be able to send out your messages, because all of them will count as your PRs and get credit for. And what does that look like for your confidence? Again, if you've knocked out 2 campaigns with triple threat on being able to get friends onto the team and also being able to sell 10,000, and what does that do for your recruiting? Because now you've also have booked up your 50 PRs from that as well. So it's a double sword that you're able to not only get your own PRs, but you're booking PRs for triple threat and what it can do. So standards for yourself. What does it look like for your standard? Are you going to do it daily? Are you sending your 50 out? Are you going to post out every single day? The expectations for yourself. Again, for our division, we want to be able to put social media as that third leg for our our third triangle layer. Of course, PRs is always going to be number 1. Then we've got campus, and then social media. And I definitely believe that social media is going to be definitely fighting for that personal recruit. What does it look like for you to literally target the best people that you want out there? It is targeting the valedictorians, targeting the football players, targeting the dramas. Literally, you have all of the opportunity to stalk, really, whoever you want on Facebook. It's like, I don't know if I like this person, so I'm not going to send them a message. But you can also stalk and be like, oh, man, this person's really cool. Like, we like the same things. Oh, we could go to concerts together. And you're literally getting to build your team of who you want from Facebook, from Instagram, because they're posting out everything that's on there. And so what this can do for you and your business is literally winning the trip. I could literally stop recruiting, which I'm not, and literally all do social media and everyone from social media. I have now added in the last week over 2,000 friends onto my Facebook of people that it's like, dude, I want them on my team and I'm going to recruit them. I've had 3 people already message me from the 3 posts that I've had in the last week of saying, dude, what do you do? I want a part of this. Also, it's not just posting out what you're doing. One thing that I haven't got onto yet, but I'm going to, is posting out all of the rep success. And so I could take a picture of Kinsey and throw her on my Facebook and say, dude, check this out. This is what she's doing. She's also a full-time student going to EMT school and still being able to do this. And so it's using Facebook as exactly as that it is, and it is free advertisement. Are you going to use it effectively to you, or are you just going to, all right, I'm going to go ahead and waste 30 minutes on here looking at stuff? No, use it to your advantage to be able to recruit anybody and everybody. By the way, it's also fun because if you are the person that just wants to waste 30 minutes, well, now you're being productive and not only sending messages, but now you're liking the people that you want to recruit on, or sending them happy birthday. I think that's one of the coolest things that I've had from Facebook and Instagram, is just sending people that I don't even know a happy birthday message. And guess what? They message me back, hey, how do I know you? But thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday. That means the world. And they have no idea who I am. And it's already building that conversation of who I am and building that credibility. And so all of these little things that you can do to help take your business and your organization to the next level, it all because of social media. We're all on there. We're all wasting time. So use that to your effectiveness and being able to use it as recruiting. And so, thinking about you winning a scholarship because of Facebook. Now, most of you are either going to school or wanting to go to school or paying off student loans. Well, now that you're getting your own friends on and competing for that scholarship, what can that look like? If you get 3 of those people on and those all sell 30,000, well, you're more than likely going to win a scholarship from that opportunity. So social media is the game. And again, at SLC, I was sitting there talking to Joel, I'm not going to say his name right, Joel Kaninsky, and he's literally, did I say it right? Yeah, see, I told you I wouldn't. And so literally talking to him, he's like, bro, do you even know what Facebook can do for you? You can literally take away sending out all the messages that you're not even going to want to send out to people that you aren't even know if they're going to get a response from, and message all of the top high quality recruits that you want. By the way, just because they're not a valedictorian or they're a football player, does that mean that we don't message them? No, because those are all the people that could definitely use that opportunity too. But it takes away of us having to go and just message random people and doing it and being very specific on who we want to be able to target from that. And I absolutely love that because like I said, I've now already gotten 3 people, and I've got 2 of them set up for training, 1 for this week and 1 for next week, all because of Facebook. And they've all already texted me and said that they all have 50 plus names on their names list already and are shooting for 100. What does it look like when you have people literally saying, I need this position, or I need this position, what can I do to be able to on it, versus, hey, I need you, and being able to have that with them. Again, so messaging everyone. Another message that post out there, especially nowadays or right now at this time, is for holiday help. And so here's what this one looks like. Hey, do you know anyone looking for part-time or full-time work for holiday help? The starting pay is $18, and my office is looking to fill positions right away. We have scholarship opportunity and internships available. Message me if you or anyone you know is interested. How many more people can we get on now so that you can help build and finish this campaign off strong? The last thing that I want to talk about is the January program trip. This is a 4-day, 3-night, all-inclusive trip. Literally, I never took my wallet out of my pocket. I ate steak and shrimp for breakfast because I could, and lots to drink there too. But here are some of the places that we've been: Puerto Vallarta, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Bahamas. What does it look like and feel like that you will be there with the people that you were able to recruit, all because of these next 2 months that you're putting into it? The January program for us, you guys are going to find out, is in Olean. So you guys are all about to find out exactly what trip we're going on. The last two were at Puerto Vallarta. So what are you doing now to build up your list? By the way, when you're messaging these people, if they're not interested in the job, well, now there's a leeway of, hey, are your parents interested? And being able to, now you're gaining names and numbers so that you can call from that too. This Facebook, we are not using it to the right tools that we can be when we're just using it to literally, when we're looking at it, we're looking at funny videos, and not saying that those videos aren't cool, because I've definitely taken some motivational things from it. But what are you following and what are you filling your mind with? That is one of the biggest things for me, and why I'm here with Vector and everything that I'm doing is just my personal growth and my development. And I've had a Facebook where I had all kinds of, not fun things, not things that were helping me out. And I literally got rid of my whole Facebook before, and I've got this brand new one that I've started, and I've been adding on people and adding on to it too. And so are you using Facebook to your advantage, or are you using it to your demise? I mean, you can literally use it to waste your time or use it to benefit yourself on what's happening. And so, again, use Facebook to your advantage. Use it to recruit. Use it to get the names from what you need to. This is, I promise you, is going to be revolutionary for our business and what we're doing, because we can literally target all of the people that we want, that we don't have to put our headache on having to draw CPO from them and having them. They will have the work ethic that we're looking for. So, like I said, use social media to your advantage, and thank you guys so much for your time.
Woo! So I'm sure Bailey's going to post that out there on the GroupMe of what the messaging is. Here's the deal. What I want to challenge you to do, we got a new program, a new contest, and I'll talk to your DM about this if they don't agree, but I'm going to make the executive division manager decision. So the only thing better than Cutco is what?
Free Cutco.
Yeah, free Cutco, right? And Bailey, you can move back up in the front. I love when you're there. The only thing better is free Cutco. So here's the deal. Every week, right, if you're on pay as an assistant manager, and your manager can make the decision if this is true for reps as well, but every week that you're on pay, right, as an assistant manager, and you post on social media 3 times. How many times?
3.
On 3 different platforms, right? Now, those could be 3 times, 3 different platforms in one day, and then just wait until the next week at the team meeting, or you could do 3 different posts throughout the week, right? I don't care which, but we will give you a free customer-generated appointment vegetable peeler. Right? So remember, those peelers you can buy for $6, right? Well, if you post how many times a week, you get a free peeler by doing so. Right? Now you can save these up if you're Quentin and you're all the way up there at school, and then by the time you come back down, it's like, I owe you 3 peelers. And remember, every time a client gives you 15 names and numbers, you can give them a free peeler, right? But how good would it be every week if you had a free peeler to generate 15 more referrals, and you were giving yourself the opportunity to get friends on the team, right, to hit triple threat? And that's something I didn't talk about earlier, so I want you all to write it down in your notes right now, and that is triple threat, right? A major thrust of 2020 is going to be making sure, right, that our people, okay, are hitting triple threat every campaign. If you forgot what triple threat is, right, it's a night out on the town with your DM and your DVM, as long as you hit 3 qualification levels, and you have to hit all 3, right? Number 1 is you sell at least how much? 10K. So you got to knock out dirty 30 for the campaign. Just so we're clear, less than 5 demos a week on average will get you to dirty 30 in a campaign, right? 17 weeks. Okay, 3 demos a week is over 50 demos. With our average order and closing percentage now, that should be at least 10K, right? But even if you're not on track right now, you still got 12 weeks left at 5 demos a week. It's still 60 demos and plenty to get you over $10,000, all right? So again, hitting dirty 30. Number 2 part of triple threat is you got to get at least 50 PRs booked, right, and scheduled. Now, in Kevin Barth's office, a lot of other organizations, their assistant managers come in and they book up 5 appointments or 5 PRs, right? And they come in 2 times a week. There's 10. If you're doing that in 5 weeks, you could book 50. But even if you're only booking 5 a week, in a matter of 10 weeks, you could still make it happen. Maybe you just got promoted to MIT. Maybe this is your first Leadership Academy. Great. You can still hit triple threat, right? And we've had assistant managers before that have literally booked 30, 40, and 50 PRs in a week by themselves in 1 week, right? Shouldn't be that hard. You just got to put in the work. And the last thing is getting 3 or more friends on the team so you're eligible for the scholarship opportunity and the team builder, right? And getting those people on board. Remember, getting friends from your classes. Those count as your PRs, right? Getting friends from social media, those count as your PRs, right? Those are people that you are generating because you personally went out there, found them, and recruited them. Everybody good on that? So let's get back to triple threat. And again, give yourself a little assessment. Right now, where are you at in sales out of 10K? Right? Right now, how many PRs have you booked out of your 50? Right? And right now, how many friends have you gotten on the team out of the 3? And even district managers, you should be trying to get friends on the team, right? I know that you don't exactly get credit for that, but hey, how much do you truly believe in the purpose and the benefits of doing this opportunity? Sound good? All right, awesome. Any other questions or concerns before we move on to the next part of our agenda for Bailey or for me about social media, about Facebook Jumpstart, about friending people now and sending out messages or anything? You good? All right, awesome. Forgot to mention, by the way, that right now for the fall, our division productivity overall is about $1,000. But from social media recruits, it's over 2,700. So what PPR means is productivity per rep. The average rep overall with all sources for the fall is just under $1,000 right now in our division. But the average social media recruit for the fall is over 2,700 on average per recruit. And that's a division-wide stat. Also, last year they did the statistics. This year I'm sure it'll be similar. But do you know what the #1 recruiting source was when it came to productivity per rep? You guessed it, social media. And do you know what the #1 PPR came from? PRs of people who heard about it through what? Social media. So we're about to go into productivity per rep. We're about to go into how to make a lot of money, how to get people to sell a lot of Cutco right off the bat. And I think that part of getting somebody to sell a lot of Cutco and have immediate success is what? Getting the right recruit in front of you, right? So quality kids doing quality demos is a heck of a lot easier program, right? Than having to have below average kids going out there and doing below average demos. Because yes, they'll still sell, but not nearly as much. And you're going to have to put a lot more effort into training them and getting them to follow the program. When you get quality kids doing quality demos, man, sky's the limit, right? And that's where you get scholarship winners. That's where you get next year's development candidates. That's where you get people in a push that are doing $15, $20, $30, $50,000. And if you heard about that, but up in Chicago, there was a kid that did 50 grand at the age of 18 for SC2 push. At the age of 18, this kid made over $20,000 in a matter of 16 days because he chose to take that risky job selling knives. It helps that his father, right, was the owner of one of the big financial firms up there. And his dad said, hey, come and visit me at work. And his dad set up a board meeting with 20 of the investors at a boardroom table. And when he walked in to meet his dad for lunch, his dad said, yeah, don't forget to bring your Cutco stuff because I might want to get some. And it was a setup. He had to do a demo in front of over 20 financial investors, right? And many of them bought sets for their wife. That certainly helps, but that's not the only reason he sold 50 grand. Does that make sense? But guess what? How much work did the manager have to put into recruiting that kid onto their team in the first place? Because if that kid comes from that kind of background and family, he doesn't need money. Clearly, he didn't need that job for the cash. He needed it for the experience because money can't buy experience. So learn how to go out there and find what you want. Find who you want. Those people are alive right now. Those people are well connected right now. Those people know people that'll buy $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in sales, but they're never going to come to your door. I shouldn't say never, but rarely. Rarely does a John Giacchino respond to a piece of mail that I send and then knock out 38 grand in the summer. Most of the time, you want that kind of kid, you go out there and find them. Does that make sense? So we need to become better at finding talent and attracting talent, and social media to help us do that. All right? So let's move on. Next step in our agenda. I'm so fired up about this section, but it's going to be all about the one thing. Assignment for everybody here is to go on to Vector Connect, go to the video library, and watch a video. It's 45 minutes long. All of our veteran DMs watched it yesterday, but I think that what I talk about now will be additional to what they watched. And you can type in the one thing on the video library in Vector Connect. If it doesn't pop up, it's because you're not on pay. So ask your manager for access and they'll help you. If you type that in, you'll find a video from 2015 SLC by a guy named Drew Frank. You might have heard him before. It's a 45-minute message about the one thing. And the one thing you can write down equals first promotion, first weekend. It's the only thing that matters. When a representative goes through our interview, goes through our training, goes through our programs, they are looking for the catch. Who's ever heard somebody say this job is too good to be true? Who's maybe ever caught themselves saying that to themselves? And people always say, what's the catch, right? Can't be this good. Can't be this simple. And I always say that the catch is the couch. The catch is the couch. The catch is the lazy, complacent feeling that you'll face daily, hourly, when you know you ought to be working and you aren't. That's really the catch, isn't it? Other than that, there is no catch. We're very transparent. We're very authentic. We're very genuine. What we present is what we do. And I'm a firm believer. I'm deeply convicted in that. So just a quick quiz, right? You can either give me a big high five in the camera right now if you're on the video, or if you're in person right now, go ahead and stand up. But I'd like to get a quick count. Go ahead and stand up or put your hand in the monitor right now if you hit your first promotion in your first 3 to 4 days on the job. In other words, if you walked into Advanced Training 1 over $1,000 in sales, give me a big high five right now or stand up, please. Ready, set, go. First promotion, first weekend. Go ahead and stand up, okay? And it's okay if you didn't. By the way, I think that there's two things we need to see here. If they don't hit it, they can still be successful. But if they do hit it, they're a lot more likely to be a part of this, right? So we've got Maddie, we've got Dustin, right? We've also got a hand on the side in Melissa's office, but I can't see it. So I don't know if that is Melissa or someone. All right, it is. Yes. I'd love to see your face too, Melissa. So we got 3. We also have some people that didn't. We got 3 here. So that's a lot of people, right? But what would it feel like next year where we have 20, 30, 40 people and almost all of them are standing up because they hit their first promotion of their first weekend? So let's give these guys a 1 clap. 1, 2, 3. I want you to think about that, right? At a normal hourly job, how long does it take to get a promotion? 6 months to a year. And when you get a promotion and you get a raise, how big is it? It's not much. In a business like ours, when somebody hits their first promotion in their first 3 to 4 days, what does it do for them mentally, physically, emotionally? What does it do for their confidence level? What does it do for their willingness to share the job with their friends? What does it do for them to go home and look at mom and dad? Mom and dad are saying, "Wow, how's that crappy job doing that I told you not to," right? And they can say, "Well, pretty good. Just got promoted and a 50% raise." They can either talk crap about it or they can keep it to themselves. What's it look like on a resume? We just talked about hashtag it's a forever thing. Pretty powerful, isn't it? So it's the one thing. It's all that matters. What I want you to write down is part of Drew's talk. I'm not going to give you Drew's talk, but I'm going to give you some documents that we can pass out and share with that, is understanding that you need a system to create first promotion in the first weekend. You need to understand the why behind it. You need to understand the how to do it. You need to make sure you have the documents to support it. When it comes down to the system that Drew uses to get first promotion first weekend, here's his mentality. Number 1, no more no sellers. If you go through 2 days of unpaid training, then how the heck does somebody go out there 3 to 4 days later and not write up an order for something? We have over 100 different products and things that cost $5, guys. So is it the fact that they weren't too good, or they weren't good enough to sell it? Or is it the fact that you weren't good enough to train them? If a rep goes out there and they don't sell something, that is 100% your fault. And you should own it and take responsibility. And honestly, people first, apologize to them for not properly training them. Every rep gets a sale in the first weekend, no matter what. I don't care if they're below average or above average. Everybody can sell Cutco. And if you authentically, genuinely thought that you had somebody in an interview that couldn't sell Cutco, why the heck did you give them the job? I'm going to be honest, right? I know that might be brutal and abrasive, and I'm fine with that. This is what is necessary for us to take the next step as a division. But for the year right now, 40% of the 1,000 plus reps who have been contracted in the Great Plains division for the year have not even made a sale. Not in their first weekend, not in their fast start, literally ever. 40% of the people who've gone through our training have not made a sale. We promise them the world, and then we show up differently. It's unacceptable. No more no sellers. Learn to have the tough conversations. Learn to inspire. Learn to build confidence and conviction that everybody can sell Cutco. And learn the whys behind why people don't sell and help them fix that. Your job as a manager is to lead, to help people get unstuck. But make that commitment to self right now, that if somebody's going to give you their trust, and you their loyalty to go through training for 2 days, you're going to show up and do whatever in your power you can to make sure that they write up an order for Cutco. I don't care if they quit, but everybody writes up an order. Everybody can sell Cutco cutlery. And we need to have the mindset and the attitude that that is fact, not fiction. You with me on that? No more no sellers. Guys, if you just get them to book their best what?
5.
They will sell. I guarantee it. I don't care how bad your best 5 are. Show your best 5, they'll buy it if you want them to, right? But if they don't want to sell Cutco, it's because you haven't inspired them enough about the benefits and the whys behind it. A trimmer is $1 a freaking day on a toupee, yes? It blows my mind that you can buy a knife on a toupee here. Right? You can buy a knife on a 3-pay if it's a big enough knife like a K-bar. You can buy a K-bar knife on a 3-pay. And it's not layaway. It's like we give it to you now. All right, whatever. Thank you, Kmart, for showing me that when I was a kid. Don't laugh. It's how I got my first bike. I'm just not kidding. True. All right, moving on. Number 2 part of the system. 50% first promotion first weekend. Half of people who go through your training should hit their first promotion in their first weekend. Why would they not? Because they didn't do enough demos. Now, I know we say best 5 gets you there because the averages play out, but even below average numbers, guys, means 7 demos get you there. So what's the concept here? Well, I would write it down. You're going to book 10 because most likely you're going to have some reschedules, cancellations, no-shows. That's normal, right? Mom's going to no-show and stand you up. Grandma, right? It's going to reschedule on you, and you're like, what the heck, you're my grandma, right? And I say that word for word in training just to take the edge off. And when it happens, don't get mad. That's part of sales. That's part of business, part of life. Why do you think that airlines overbook flights? Why do you think that doctors charge fees if you don't cancel in advance, right? It's just normal. People are messy. That works. And people are your family, or you're booking. So here's the deal. You book 10 because you'll probably complete what?
7.
And when you complete 7, are they all going to buy? Maybe.
Oh,
And that's what I always tell them, right? Like, gosh, attitude. I just told you that. I'll never judge you on results, but come on. And I have fun with it, right? So are all 7 going to buy? And they say no. And I say, maybe. It's happened before. And then I point out the records. And I point out in our office the longest sales streak before the first no sale, right? Is John Giacchino in our office, 27 demos straight. I know it's on the video training, right, from Drew Frank's office, but there was a 54 demo straight kid, right, or something. It was over 50. That's what I remember, right, by Luke. Pretty awesome. So here's the deal. You never know. But here's the deal. If it's not going to be 7, that's okay because 60% of people buy, which would leave you with how many orders? 4. Some of you don't want to respond anymore, so I'll call you out, right? But 4 orders. And by the way, are those all going to be at Homemakers? Maybe. I just set you up again. You fell in your own trap. And then after that, I say, but they probably won't. And you know what? If they all 4 are orders, they'll average out to about 250, and that'll be $1,000. Even if you're below average, just do 7 demos. The only reason our reps are not hitting their first promotion is because they're not doing enough demos. And I firmly believe that if you're a trainer, you can motivate and inspire and get them over their fears to do 7 appointments in their first weekend. Now, it's a little bit more challenging during the school year because they launch on Saturday evening. So they have Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and Monday with class. But I'm really talking about adding in Tuesday morning. Even if they won't show up, that would be my mindset. By the time advanced training happens, are they over that first promotion, right? And in the summertime, it shouldn't be challenging because we run a Thursday, Friday program. So they have 2 demos on Friday night. They have all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and all of Monday. That's 3.5 days, guys. Come on. That's less than 2 demos a day. Yes or yes, right? So what that comes out to is just having that mentality and setting them up for success by communicating. And the third and final thing that will help you increase first weekend pop and PPR is top 20% hits their second promotion. Top 20% hits their second promotion. If you're going to run an interview and label somebody as a 3-star recruit, you're saying that you know that you have the confidence and the training ability to get them to sell $3,000 in their first 3 days. That's what you're saying. That's a 3-star recruit. So if you've been marking people as 3-star recruits that don't belong in the 3-star category, let's change that. Especially if I'm the one running training and I have other people running my interviews. Because if you label somebody as a 3-star, I'm confirming them for training as if they're going to sell how much? 3K, and I'm talking to them about their names list as if they're going to have enough to sell 3K, which means I'm driving them, I'm pushing them to get to 50. So if you're running an interview for somebody, right, I'll tell you this, I won't even put somebody on my team unless I can see two things happening, okay? Number one, I can see them hitting their first promotion, their first what?
Weekend.
If they did, how many demos?
7.
Now, if you can honestly look at somebody and say, dude, if this person shows 7 people, their best 5 in that, I don't think they could sell $1,000, then don't give them the job. But because we're literally hurting them, right? But that doesn't happen very often. Everybody knows 7 people. Everybody knows people that will buy Cutco that can use it. So I'm not giving you permission to stop giving people the job. I'm giving you permission to start increasing your expectations for the people you give the job to. And the second thing is, I won't put somebody on the team unless I can legitimately see them hitting 10K if they just did 5 demos a week. Why don't people stick around to hit 10K? Because they don't have how many demos a week. Reps don't quit when they do at least how many demos a week. So get everybody to start doing 5. And if we just keep reps with 5 ahead, guess what? They don't quit because they have something to look forward to. They know they have income coming in. And then our base pay of $18, which will be the same next summer, that's almost $100. What other job can you get that even pays close to that? I just looked online. You know what? There was a job that was hiring, and it said master's degree expected. And then below that, it said hourly pay. You want to know what it was? $15.27. And they expect a master's degree to earn that. We pay more than that, and we don't even know if you've ever done sales or if you can. Vector trained. Skills for life. Everybody that's listening to this recording or hearing me talk right now, guaranteed, you take the opportunity for granted in some form or fashion. Your mentality about how money works has been changed because of the price we charge and our market we sell to and the base pay we offer. Tell your friends about a starting pay of $18 and they'll want in. Maybe that needs to change in your PR script and how you attract people. Hey, my manager's hiring for holiday help. Starting pay is $18. Are you looking for money? Just start there. Yeah, bro, where is it? Like, tell me about it right now. You don't even have to ask questions. And we know when they show up to the interview, they learn everything and they actually like the job and they follow through with it. Yes or yes? So let's get back to those fundamentals, right? Say it with me. No more what? No more no sellers. 50% hits their what? In their what? Good. And your top 20% hit their what? Second promotion, 3K. And here's the thing, guys. If I launch 5 reps, how do I get $1,000 first weekend pop? Which doesn't mean everybody hits their first promotion, but I get 1 kid to 3K. I get another kid to 1,000. I get another 2 that sell their first set or their first sale. And maybe 1 doesn't make that sale, but I tried really hard, right? It's 5K in sales, baby. And on average, that's $1,000 per person. Now, I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we literally have every single rep, every single week, forever, making a sale. Does that make sense? At least not in their first weekend. But I think that we can improve a heck of a lot better than 40%. Do you? So let's get into the documents that are going to help you with this system and help you develop your reps to getting the results that we want. The first document that I'm going to pass around, by the way, in your email, forward this out to your people, managers, but there's this guy here, service request form. You guys can all take one that are going to Olean, and this is important. You can put the extra copies over here. You fill that out. If there's any product for repair or resharpening, you can bring it with you, send it in, and then they'll send it back. You save the money on the shipping up there. You do have to pay for the shipping on the way back. The second document that I want to talk about is the importance of following the manual. So go ahead and take one of these and pass it around as well. And this is where we're going to begin. Following the manual. This document is so freaking important. So I'm not going to go over all of it in too much depth, but I do want to talk about it. And when it says following the manual, we need to remember that the manual has everything in it. As long as a rep follows the manual, they will succeed. A rep's success and motivation is largely based on their confidence in what they're doing and knowing what they're doing is correct, efficient, and proven, right? So we need to keep that in mind. So when it comes to following the manual, one of the things is the first time you teach something outside of the manual, if it's not in there, they immediately have the permission to start questioning everything else you teach from that point forward, which clearly is not what we want, right? So we need to keep that in mind as we move through it. So there must be a better way mentality starts to set in. We want to make sure that reps have confidence that what they're teaching is the best. They're learning everything they need to be able to do this job forever, right? They don't need anything else. If they just do this, they'll be okay. So I'll share this document so those of you on the video can see it. But when it comes to following the manual, right, what we need to think about is following the manual creates the mindset of I already have all the answers. Now I just have to show up and work the plan. Attitude beats aptitude always, every day, right? So why reps sell? Well, let's talk about that. First off, they feel what?
Good.
They feel good, right? If people don't feel good, they're not going to sell. The second thing is they have people to what? Call. If they don't have people to call, they're going to start to count themselves out and look for a different job. And the third thing is they have a what? A plan. They have a schedule. And in training, you make that schedule for them. One of the number one reasons that many of you right now are not selling is because you haven't sat down and put in the time to write out every hour of every day for the next week or two. And then plan the next time you're going to do it for the next week or two. And if you actually were organized and had detailed plan of when you go to school, when you do your homework, when you do everything that is a priority in your life, you would get so much more out of your week and out of your days. And even if you didn't show up to all of it, it'd be a heck of a lot better than whatever heck non-system you're using right now for time management. Get back to the basics. I'll tell you this right now. Many of you going through Olean Push that aren't on track, well, here's probably the reason. You're either not feeling good, you don't feel like you have what? People to call, or you never made a what? If you just did those three things, I bet you things would change dramatically. Guess what? Same stuff's true for all of our top reps. I think about Britton. When Britton's not doing well, it's because one of those three things is off. And when Britton's crushing it like he is right now, he told me today in a PC, I've never felt better about the business than right now, Nick. Well, that's because he feels good. He's got people to call. And he's got a plan to crush the remainder of his year. It doesn't change. The same stuff that works for brand new reps is the same stuff we use with CSPs. So let's look at the next part, right? It says 3 facets of success in Cutco sales. As long as the rep masters these areas, there's no reason they shouldn't get to FSM and hit 50%. Toss them some recognition, appreciation, intrinsic motivation, they're going to get there. So give yourself a quiz right now. If you mastered the recommendations, approach, and objections, and if not, when are you finally going to? By the way, it's not like that's ever going away. It's not like we get to next summer, we're like, oh, by the way, you know how we said master recommendations? We were kidding. We decided that that's not important anymore, so don't worry about it. Like, that's never going to happen, right? So get it done now. If not now, when? Number 2 is the phoning. Have you mastered that yet? Are you confident that 95+% of people you talk to that answer the phone will book a demo with you? And the answer is no. You got room for improvement. And the third and final one is closing, handling the objections and the approach. After that, by the way, there's no extra teaching. Workshops are never necessary. They're just review. I'm not teaching anything new. Yeah, I believe we should do workshops, but the workshops are based on mastering what you already know. As long as the rep has the approach memorized and knows exactly how to handle objections, they'll succeed as part of the job. So how to make sure the reps are following the manual? Well, the PC. I'm not going to go into the detail about that, but we've taught the PC before, right? In addition to that, flip it over, and there are 5 keys to building value in the manual during training. I'm going to burn through these, but the number 1 is 3 keys to selling Cutco. Read, cut, and smile. Following the manual. Read it word for word 30 times. Don't even look at the client because it's not important. This manual is not just for training. This manual is what?
Forever.
It's forever. Would a customer rather have a smooth, fancy salesperson or the right information? Right information every time. And when it comes down to it, guys, in fact, customers feel more comfortable with less eye contact. It's a myth in sales. It's a myth in sales when you think that somebody needs to look at you in the eye. That's because they're selling a crappy product. Eye contact is used as a distraction. It's a distraction from the crappy product that they're selling. They don't want you to find out it's crappy, so if they look at you, it forces you to look at them. And then you don't find out it's crappy. Do we sell a crappy product? No, we sell the number 1 product in the history of the universe. It's sexy. It's amazing. It's great. I don't want them looking at you because you're not going home with them, hopefully. I want the product being what they look at because the more they're at, the more they love it, and the more they buy. Got it, guys? So no matter what, we're going to make sure that we read the manual word for word. Also, too much eye contact is overwhelming. You're sitting in their kitchen for an hour with sharp objects. Freaky. Let's not do that, right? And you notice how I'm joking and I'm having fun as I'm running training. You need to recite this stuff over and when you pause Drew Frank's training and the videos, right? Okay? If you stare at the manual, there's absolutely no pressure and they can focus on how great Cutco is. Also, you're new. You're learning. It's cute.
It's cute.
So don't forget, who sells Cutco? You are the product. The product. The product. So stop trying to sell it. And for a lot of you, you need this reminder. This is kind of like you going back through training. Let's talk about number 2. Number 2 is keeping it simple. The recipe for success. I've never had a rep who followed the manual exactly the way we taught and not have success. I've had plenty of reps who failed this job, but that's because they tried to do it their own way. They were too cool for school and they didn't read it word for word. And that's something that I would write down in your notes. I'm not telling you to follow the manual, like follow the outline. I'm telling you to read the manual word for what?
Word.
And I say that over like a broken record in my training, word for word. We're going to read the manual. We're going to follow it word for word. And they understand that. Is it okay to add to the manual? Yes. Is it okay to skip any parts of the manual? No. Is it okay to change parts of the manual? No. And those of you sitting here right now, all of you are looking at me and you're like, yep, when I read it word for word, it worked. I stopped reading it, it didn't. I have those examples. I have those stories, and I have plenty of people who do too. As long as you follow it word for word, you'll be successful. Everything you ever need to know about the job is in the what? It's a 40-page manual, but a 12-page demo. Come on. I remember when the manual was only 25 pages because all those extra pages weren't in there, and we had handouts galore, and it was a freaking mess. And we realized we're already giving them everything to succeed. Why not just put it in there, right? If you didn't know this, we'll talk about it later tonight. You can check your manual. Anybody ever done this? The second to last page in your manual? Second to last page in your manual. You ever look on the back? First off, the path to FSM. If you were doing all these things, you'd be great. And guess what? The second part of it, dreams list on the back. Some of you didn't even know this stuff existed. Have you ever taken the time to literally read your manual word for word, all 39 pages? I'm not saying out loud, but some of you don't even know that there's pages in here, and you're like, that's in it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, because guess what? The manual is a forever thing. It's everything you ever need to know. So look at number 3 here, right? Creating role models. This manual is exactly word for word what the FSMs and CSPs say. We have designed it over the years of 70 years now to make sure that everything is in there. They don't use the manual because they have their demo memorized. But they've done it thousands of times. How do you think they got it memorized? Reading it word for what?
Word.
Yeah, so guess what? As long as you read this word for word, your demo will sound exactly like theirs. There's 2 reasons FSMs have so high averages. I would write this down or put it in your notes. Why are FSMs and CSPs better than you? It's because of repetition and passion. That's the only difference. And I tell them this all the time. The only difference between you, and I point to our CSPs, Curtis JQs, right? Carlton Thompson, Marissa Mayer, Rob Steiner, Bryn Northcutt. The only difference between you and them, repetition. They've done it longer, so they're better at it, and passion. They love Cutco more than you do. You know why? Because they use it every day. So how do you get better? Do more demos and cut more food. If you just do those 2 things, you're going to be a success. There are reps on our team right now that literally still have never taken their knives home and used them on their own. The only time they've ever used them is in a demo. If you have a rep not selling, tell them to go to the grocery store instead of Chick-fil-A, or go to Chick-fil-A. You can cut the chicken with it too. The bottom line is this, right? Go buy some stuff, bring it home, and use your freaking product. How do you build belief in anything? Using it. Who's ever had that new phone that you're like a little unsure on? You're like, I don't know if this is going to be a cool phone. And you started using it, you're like, this thing's dope. Right? A piece of technology. I remember when I switched from doing like an Android or like, I don't know, I think I stuck it out with the Motorola Razr for a while. But I got my first iPhone and I was so uncertain, and I got it and I was like, this thing's awesome, right? And then I started trying to sell everybody on it. Why? Because I used it. Nothing's better than hands-on experience. Yes? So bottom line, the only difference is repetition and passion. That's it, guys. Okay? Word for word. Read it word for word. Do it 1,000 times. You'll love Cutco, and you'll fall in love with it just like they did. Number 4, your personal story. I read my manual word for word. Or I didn't read my manual word for word, and the demo was a disaster. Be honest. Be genuine and authentic, right? Or tell the story. My story, right? 3 months into the job, 15,000 personal sales. Stop reading my manual word for word. The manager went on field training with me, found that out, challenged me to forget everything I thought I knew and get back to the manual. The next time I read it word for word, I started selling a set. Scally +6, actually. Shocking how that works, right? So get back to the basics, cool? And the last one is rep stop buys. This cannot be understated. Guys, there's nothing more valuable than people stopping by and building up your training. Because A, it splits up the monotony of watching videos and having you lecture, right? B, they can become curious. Oh, there are people on this team. That's awesome, right? C, when those people say the exact same stuff that you're teaching, it gives validity, right, and credibility to what you're teaching. People have to hear things 3 times to actually do them, right? So remember this, that when it comes down to it, they hear it, right, and they understand it, right? Sorry. Number 1 time, they hear something, they hear it, but they don't do it. Number 2, they understand it. Number 3, they commit to it. 3 different times. You know, another part of that, though, is 3 different people. It's not just 3 different times from the same one. They hear it from you. Somebody stops by on day 1. and you ask them some questions, right, that are right down here. If you could do your fast start all over again, what would you do differently? Oh, more demos. I would have worked harder. There's nobody that doesn't say that. I sold 12K on my fast start, and I still didn't put in best effort. Everybody could have done more, right? And number two, hey, can you give some advice on getting off to a fast start? Teach your reps to just say, yeah, just listen to my manager. I would write that down. Listen to your manager. Listen to Drew. Listen to Nick. Listen to whoever. Build up the trainer. And then just follow the manual. Hey, by the way, when you're doing a demo, like, how do you do it? I just follow the manual. Like, what do you mean by follow it? I just look down and read it word for word and then look up and smile and ask them if they want to buy. What happens? All people buy stuff. Now, those people tell you on the phone they're going to buy stuff? No. They tell me they're not going to buy anything. Then what happens? So I just show up and read the manual and look up and smile and they buy stuff. Got it. So you said reading the manual works? Well, what's your type of food? Pineapple? Got it. So bring a pineapple, cup food, and smile and have fun. Shocking. All right, good. High five. Thanks for the intro. And you do that 5 times, 10 times throughout your training. Every rep on your team is required to stop by on one of the 2 days of training. Can you imagine what that training class is going to do? I can. They're all going to go out there and read the manual, cut a lot of food, and have a lot of fun. And then guess what? No more no-sellers. 50% hits their first promotion, and their top 20% hits the 3K. It's that simple. Got it? Stop overthinking. And I'll tell you this. If you've ever had a no-sale, I'll tell you why. It's either because you didn't read the manual, word for what. You didn't cut enough what. And the minimum type is how many. And the best type is a tomato. Or you didn't have enough what. The only other reason, by the way, is because you didn't show the right person. It's the only reason. You didn't show them that client. Show them that client with a husband and wife and read, cut, and smile. You're going to sell something every time, guaranteed, no matter what, 100%, no doubt. Even if you suck. So I want to go back to this quote. Stop doubting the system and start doubting your implementation of that system. If you're not selling right now, here's why. If your reps aren't selling, here's why. Get back to the basics and you'll watch your success improve dramatically. Cool? Let's move on to the second document. Second document that this is all about, making sure that we get back to first weekend PDI. So some of you have seen this before, some of you have not, but I'm going to change up the document in the screen and we'll move forward with that. Questions, concerns, comments about following the manual, why we follow the manual, how to promote following the manual, or anything else that has to do with reading the manual word for word. All right, you can. I don't know why I took the whole thing. There you go. So, there you go. All right, so it's all about first week in PDI, and I want to discuss that. I want to talk about that and the power of doing that. Let's talk about first week in PDI. So I'm going to share my screen. Hey, Maddie, you're looking good. All right, so first week in PDI. Here we are. So what I want to talk about is first week in PDI, and I want to talk about the importance of this, okay? It is critical to make sure that you realize how we judge reps. And I want to change this. I didn't even say I want to change the poster. We'll never judge reps on results, but we will always judge reps on 3 fundamental things. Number 1, a positive what? Number 2, a strong what? And number 3, which is not on there, but I've been promoting it since I've come out here to Great Plains, is great communication. And I tell people that all relationships are based on communication. If you've ever had a relationship fail, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, teacher, coach, mentor, I guarantee you that it can be linked back to a lack of what? Nobody succeeds on their own. The less you communicate, the less you'll make, the less you'll sell, and the less likely you'll stick with us long term. The more you communicate, the more all of those things will improve. My best reps call me the most. My top quality managers are always in touch. There's multiple different forms of communication, a phone call, a text message, just showing up at the office, but any communication is better than no communication. And I will tell you that I have never fired a rep because of bad results, but I've definitely fired a rep because of bad communication. And if I can't count on you to communicate with me, then there's no way I can count on you to borrow $450 worth of my product. This isn't a threat, guys, but it's an obligation that I'm making to you and I need you to make to me. And the alternative to us communicating daily is you coming to the office every morning and meeting here at 8 a.m. So you choose, which would you prefer? Cool. Let's make sure we talk a lot. Deal? Now, when you're new, we'll have to talk a lot more. And as you get more veteran, you're more experienced, you also make more money and you figure more things out. But even my best reps at 10K, guess what? I still talk to them consistently throughout the week, but probably not as much as a new rep. This week, and expect to talk to me more than your boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, or dad. We're going to become best friends. In fact, Your boyfriend or girlfriend might get jealous because you're talking to me more than them. Let them know that that's okay, and it's not always going to be like that. And I say these things in training because I'd rather over-exaggerate what it's going to be like, so when it's less than that, it's okay, than under-promote it, and then it's still less than that, and it's not okay. You got me on that? So you have to go above and beyond, and you have to set the tone for what's expected of your team. And also talk to them in terms of what's in it for them. What are the benefits of them actually doing this, right? So quickly, let's look over our first week in PDI. At the top, it says stay organized, right? So use a system to take great notes. My system, our divisional system, Web PDI. And we're going to talk about that and teach that on future recordings. Second thing, never blame, reprimand, or show disappointment or critique over the phone. Your job is to make them feel great. When you're talking to reps, right, they're going to tell you all the bad things. I love it when I answer a rep, right? And I'm like, Fast Start PDI, this is Nick, who's this? And they're like, hey, it's Jimmy. I just finished my demo. I didn't sell anything. It's so easy to be like, all right, well, let's talk about the demo. Why didn't you sell anything? Versus starting out with recognition and celebration. Jimmy, thanks for calling, man. This is awesome. Really appreciate that, bro. And you know what I love? I want to celebrate for a moment that right after the demo, you called me, especially because you had a no sale. Listen, if you would have sold a homemaker, it would have been easy to call me. But the hardest time to call your manager, I know from experience, is after you have a bad demo, bro. So I'm so proud of you right now. And I just want to celebrate this moment that you did the right thing. High five. If we start our call there, we can't have a bad call. Your job is not to manage people's results. Your job is to manage people's emotions and behaviors. Make sense? So why do you give a you-know-what about the result? Who cares? They got paid anyway. Dude, Jimmy, you also made 18 bucks, man. When's the last time you made 18 bucks in an hour? Are we celebrating the base pay or are we avoiding it? You won't even pay the whole base pay, by the way. As a manager, you pay a freaking quarter of it. It costs you $4.25 for Jimmy to go out there and have an experience that's going to be the building blocks and foundation for his future success in hitting Dirty 30 and becoming one of your top reps. And you're pissed off because of the result? Are you kidding me? You got to change your mindset. Third part of this is attitude is everything. Energy and passion. That's all that needs to flow. Energy and passion. Every time you hear me speak, when you listen to the recordings, when you come in for team meetings, I'm never monotone. I'm never low energy. Even if I feel like crap, I'm at my best that I can be at. Passion and energy for everything you do because you care, because it's the right thing to do by your people. And the objective is to make people feel good and get them to have more demos. That's it. If every PDI call, they leave feeling better than they did when they called you, guess what? They're going to keep calling you. But if they feel worse every time they call you, doubtful they're going to answer your call next time. And it's going to be a lot more challenging for you to get them to talk to you. Isn't that what we do, right? Leave everything in a better place than we found it. And part of this is creating more action, getting them back on the phone, right? And I would just write next to that, what's next? Very simple question. Cool, man. So what's the next step? What's next? What are you looking forward to? When's your next demo? When's the next time you get on the phone, right? Those types of questions, not all of them at once, obviously, right? And the 10, 80, and 10 rule. Remember, some get off to a fast start, some slow, treat everyone like a future top rep. If you knew that person was the next Curtis JQs that was over $6 million in sales and just had a $64,000 week, by the way, means you made 32 grand last week in 7 days. If you knew it was the next Curtis, would you treat him different? Because Curtis went out there and had a bunch of no sales, sold one hunting knife, and tried to quit before AT1. How do I know this? Because his original promoting and training manager is my photographer for our family since our wedding, Patrick Edmondson. Just saw him 2 weeks ago. And we saw Curtis when Patrick was at the Balloon Fiesta working there. Really wild, right? I took a photo with him. That's where it all began. And Patrick had the mental tenacity to not give up on this guy from Lyman, Colorado that was a complete farm boy. Now he's the #1 rep in corporate history. How do you see your people? As who they are or as who they could be? Last part of this, right, is remote, calling from demos for great deals. Our best reps call us in the middle, not because they have to, because they want to. It's better for you. It's better for the client. Everybody wins. Everybody wins when you call in the middle of the demo. And when a rep doesn't call in the middle of the demo, it's not about reprimanding for not, but it's about sharing stories and evidence of success of the people who are. I'm so proud of you, Kinsey, for knocking out your first sale. That's a huge deal. Are you open to just a little bit of advice for your next appointment that could really help you out? All right, cool. Here's all I want. Remember when in training, when we talked about calling in the middle of the demo for a great deal? I really want you to try that. And the reason I want you to try that is because I feel like if you did, we might have been able to sell some more. And even if we didn't, it still would have been awesome to brag on you, about you to your grandma. And I would love to do more of that. By the way, I've just had blank, blank, and blank who did call in the middle of the demo, and all three of them had a bigger order and sold a set because they did. I'm not saying they're better than you. I'm just saying that because they did that, I feel like it increased their average order. So how do you feel about that? Is something I can count on you to try out on your next demo? All right, awesome. Can't wait. What's next? Yes or yes? Okay, cool. So let's move forward, right? Next thing in here, right? Understanding the difference between who you're coaching. An incoming top rep, a big sale, don't overreact, congratulate, follow the guidelines below. Big sales are normal. By the way, if I have a 3-star recruit who's that kid that should be hitting their 3K promotion and they sell a homemaker, of course they sold a homemaker. Why would they not sell homemakers? Everybody buys homemakers. I think about a Quentin for that. When Quentin went out there, ripped it up, right? How many demos hit your first promotion, Quentin? 1 appointment. First demo, who was it for? And what'd they buy? Okay. By the way, Quentin, when he called me, I did not answer that call. By the way, I put Quentin on my team for a reason, and Quentin's still here. And when Quentin called me for that, it wasn't like, bro, that's huge. Do you know how awesome you are? Oh, no way. It was like, awesome, man. How'd the demo go? Oh, she bought a homemaker +8. She got some free stuff. Dude, that's pretty awesome. What do you think he did well at? It was just normal. It was expected. And then he shipped 15 grand for the summer, and now he's in our leadership program. Yeah. In fact, I remember that, and I gave you crap about it. And I was like, bro, give her something. And you're like, dude, she'll want anything. I was like, just give her a peeler. And you're like, no, bro, CPO. And I was like, bro, I'm going to kill you. Like, it was not a good call. Anyway, maybe that is a bad example. But I remember that. You were so, like, absurd about not giving anything for free. Anyway, my point is this. He was a 3-star recruit.
No.
And because of that, right, I'm not the one who interviewed you. So here's the deal. I'm not telling you what was. I'm telling you what I would think. So what I'm telling you is 3-star recruit. I didn't overreact to that. Of course he did. Now it's about what's next and how great it's going to be. Dude, you realize that was your first appointment. You're already selling homemakers. Can you imagine after you've done this 10, 20, 30 times and how it's going to feel when you're selling signatures and ultimates? In fact, I can't wait till after SC1 when you are at 10K and you're knocking out an ultimate sale at 30%. Can you imagine what it'll feel like to make $600 in an hour? So who's your next demo for? Tell me about them. What do you think they're going to buy? Do you see how that works? Very matter of fact. Cool. But I'm not overreacting. Small sale, by the way, from a top rep. Small sales add up. Sometimes just making them laugh because they're pissed about it. If you got a 3-star recruit and they got a sale, anything less than a couple $100, they're not happy. Anything less than a set, honestly. Right? But you have to protect them from themselves. Again, we're not managing the results, good or bad, right? What are we managing? Emotions and behaviors. That's it. That's what we manage because we know that if we keep them in a positive attitude and a good work ethic, they're going to get results. That's all you manage. So we talk about this, right? And we think about how we handle that, right? Don't worry about it. Hey, those small ones are a big deal. If I could add up all the sales that I've had below $200, it probably adds up to 100, like tens of thousands of dollars in my career sales. So don't worry about it. You're going to be all right. And then the no sales. Hey, no big deal. You got it out of the way. After every bad demo comes a what? Hey, I know you don't know this yet, Quentin, but here's the deal. On our team, we celebrate bad demos. We celebrate bad days because we know that after every bad day, 100% without a doubt, a good day comes. In fact, your best demos always come after your worst demos, and I'm so proud of you for getting that thing out of the way. How great is it going to feel when your next one buys your first ultimate? And we inspire and we promote. And just looking at you guys right now, like Kinsey can't not smile right now. She's like, that sounds great. And Kinsey's smiling because that's literally what happened in her push. And she sold a signature mistake or ultimate mistake. And that came after terrible start, terrible days, terrible demos. The best always comes after the worst, but you have to remind them of that. If they're a low flyer, which by the way, wouldn't be probably a 1 or a 2-star recruit, it's different. It's the exact opposite. If they do sell a set, holy freaking crap, dude. You're like a freaking rock star. And it's completely opposite, right? Okay, if they have a small sale, still make a big deal out of that. And they have a no sale, hey, no big deal. Tell me about it. What do you think you did well at? Okay, cool. What's one way you can improve? Don't overwhelm them. They're already judging themselves hardcore enough. They don't need your help. Does that make sense? And focus on what really matters, all right? Let's talk about some other things for first week in PDI, right? I love this because it's not a script. You already have a PDI script that you can use, but it's aligned with this stuff. Accountability outgoing, right? If the rep isn't calling in, get back to what's in it for them. Coaching, mentoring, motivation, teaching. Motivates me. You know what my favorite part of my job is? Watching you succeed. And dude, if you're having success, I want to celebrate that with you because that's my whole point of the job. And if you're having frustration and challenge, I also want to help you get unstuck. I'm here for you. What's good for you is good for me. I don't get paid unless you get paid, man. So let's work together. We can't work together if we don't communicate. So is it literally that you just forgot, or is it that you're just a little embarrassed? I mean, just be honest. Okay, you're embarrassed. So what? I want to remind you, I'll never judge your results. It's cool. It's cool. You know what's not cool? Not calling me jerk. I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's not cool. So can we make this like the last time you forget to call? That you don't call because you're embarrassed, please? All right. If you do it again, how do you want me to respond? Because I feel like we're already on the same page now. So if it happens the second time, like, you're going to put me in a pretty awkward space that I don't want to be in. You ever thought about that? Talking about the consequence of what happened if it happens again? Less likely to do it, right? So think about this stuff as you move forward, right? Cool. Next big thing on here is reset the PDI expectations. I know you can be a top rep. I want you to be here. I want to help you be here, but you need to help yourself too. The more we communicate, the better you're going to be. Can you imagine how much more success you're going to have if we start talking more often? You ever thought about that? Tell stories, right? Those types of things. Let's look at key questions you can ask. Key questions are things like, what food did you cut? You're asking questions that are expected, right? Hey, what food did you cut? If you ask the question, how much food did you cut? They're going to try to tell you the answer that you want to hear instead of what food did you cut? And then they say an apple and an orange. Celebrate that and then get back to cutting 5. You with me on that? Okay. So what do you feel like you're doing well at? Cool. What's one thing you need to work on, right? Follow the manual. And sometimes you got to talk about that when they did have success. Dude, that's awesome. You still the homemaker, Quinn. How cool was it that you just read the manual word for word? That's sweet. Like, did you even look up at them at all? Or just read it? Head down the whole time. And you looked up and said, you want to get it? And she said, yes. Dude, you're going to talk about that in next week's team meeting when you're the #1 rep in our office on how literally you're just reading it word for word and everyone's buying homemakers. Sick. Can you imagine when you get good? Dude, we got to get you to 3K because once you're at 3K, you get to meet our division manager and he's going to teach you how to sell ultimates and signatures. How quick do you think we can get there? But do you notice how I talked about following the manual and where it's going to get them? Okay, let's talk about recommendations. How many did you get? Celebrate that with them. Who knows the national average of recommendations per rep? National average is 3. Hey man, national average is 3, so the fact that you got 5 means you're above average. I know you wanted 10, but it's still a sponsorship. Did you have them sign your sheet? You didn't? All right, well, I trust you. Just write their name in there for him. Next time, make sure you do, because the more you have on that list, the more likely other people will do it. Can you imagine when you have like 20 on there? It's going to be to 50 in no time. What piece of cuck are you going to get? Now, obviously, I'm moving very quick for time purposes. It wouldn't be that quick of a conversation, but I'm showing you the process of it. Make sense? What else? Rollo orders. Is it on Rollo yet? Now it was old school back when we wrote a paper orders, right? We always said, doesn't count till it's on Rollo. My new phrase, doesn't count till it's on GroupMe. What'd you sell? Oh, it's not on GroupMe yet, so when are you going to put it out there so we can actually count it? Yeah, I can't pay you on it until it's on GroupMe, so.
I like that.
Oh, you sold an Ultimate, Brandon? That's cool, dude. I wish you could pay you on it. I mean, that's like $600. So if you're not going to post it out there, I just got to start planning on what I'm going to spend your $600 on. So have fun, be yourself, genuine, authentic, right? Simple tips, things like 5Pay, things like dropping down one step at a time, things like cutting more food, things like excitement, manuals, sharing goals, having more fun, things like this, writing down prices. Amazing what happens when they do that. All of a sudden they sell. I don't have any tracking. I'm not like the metric master like Drew, but that's a new one I just called him. But anyway, I don't have any stats behind this, but I do believe that people are 50% more likely to close a set when they write down prices. Psychology, right? When they see that number going down every single time you ask. Also, when you write down prices, it forces the rep to slow down while they're dropping down, right? So teaching these tips. PR promotion. It's another thing. Here's what I want you to learn from this. In the first weekend, you are literally setting the tone for the rest of their career. So you better not take that lightly. And if you're too busy in the first weekend to answer their phone call, that's a problem. You feel like you worked your butt off all 6 days and then you got to the end of training, training's out, they left the office and you're like, I'm off. Are you kidding me? Your job just began. Everything you've done that week has led up to this point. This is the critical tipping point in that moment. Giving yourself permission to go out and watch a movie on a Saturday night when you just launched a training class at 4 o'clock, foolish. Not answering their call because you're in a dinner, you need to prep your family in advance. Hey, mom and dad, I know we're in dinner, but I'm going to be getting a lot of calls from people. And I'm going to apologize in advance to you for having to step out and show up for them, but it's because I have to put people first. It's one of our anchors in our division. And it's because I have to do the right thing, and the right thing is to answer. Does that make sense? Not answering a phone call, not being like by your phone at the whole freaking weekend, right? That's unacceptable, right? You've got to show up. If these were your kids that were going through training, how would you want to show up for them? Because ultimately you should treat them the same. Okay? That's another way to look at it, right? Here's another thing, right? And district managers, I hope you're really paying attention to this. Truly making a connection. All right, let's look at that. Recognizing effort and performance, not just results. What you appreciate appreciates. Letting them know they're important to the team. Letting them know that they're going to be the reason that we hit our goals. Making everybody feel valuable and valued. Are you having fun? Are you learning? Do you feel like you're getting better each time? Hey, I know it was your second demo and I know it's another no sale, but listen, is that second appointment that you did better than your first one? Yeah? How so? Can you imagine after you do it 10 times or 20 times, how great you're going to be? Dude, you're going to be so good at this. Sometimes it's not telling them what they're doing. It's telling them what they're going to be doing. Telling them what you see their future as. Speaking it into existence, right? Really makes a difference. The last few things you'll see on here at the bottom, right? Creating excitement and creating action. Multiple different ways to create more excitement for people. I love talking about income, especially when they're 10%. Did you sold a starter set, Brandon? Dude, you know at 10% right now, you just made like $45 in an hour. When's the last time you made $45 an hour? Don't tell me, I don't know what you did. But here's the deal, right? If they say, well, it was when, I'm like, I don't want to know, right? But most of the time it's like, I haven't. I'm like, dude, well, you just did. How cool is that? Hey, Brandon, have you thought about once you're at 30%, thought about what that feels like? You sold an Essentials Plus 5. Dude, $450 sale, when you're at 30%, you'd make almost $150 in an hour. Now, I know you got your other job, it's hourly and stuff, and you park part-time there. How much do you make in a week after tax? 120 bucks? You would have made more money than a full week's check in an hour, dude. We got to get on the phone. We got to get more demos because we got to get to 10K. Once you're at 10K, you'll never worry about money. So who's your next phone call? When's the next time you get on the phone? When's the next time demo? Right? You're creating that excitement and then moving it right into action. Okay, AT1 promotion, getting them to the next event, always being pumped about how the team's doing. You know how you know people are tied in? It's when they're asking about the team. That's how you know. When somebody's like, you know what? Yeah, blah, 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 has had a no sale, blah, blah. But by the way, how's the team doing? How are the other reps in my training class? That's how you know that they care. So how many times can you create that kind of conversation and environment? Creating action. Most important thing that you're always doing is getting them back on the what? Number one thing that holds people back is not making enough calls. Demo goal. How many you got ahead? Never asking, do you have your 5, but saying how many you got ahead. All right. Whatever the number is, all right. By the way, they got 10 ahead. All right. So what's next? How many more can we get? You create that kind of culture in an organization, there's no way you're missing Madrid. There's no way you're going to lose money. There's no way you have any risk. And all of these skills are transferable into anything else you ever do. Contacts, how many names and numbers do you have on your list? When's your next demo? Right? When reps are proud, they're new, right? When's your next demo? Oh, it's like tomorrow. You're like, okay, so let's talk about that, right? Here's the deal. We only have one first weekend, and you'll never, ever get it again. So as much as you're excited about having a demo tomorrow, you're still calling your family. Dude, it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Who can we call and book a last-minute demo with tonight? How great would it feel when you did call somebody and get a last-minute demo and they bought a homemaker and you hit your first promotion? I mean, I know you're going to hit your first promotion by Monday. But how much better would it be if you hit it tonight and you hit your 3K promotion by Monday? That's the difference in making $100 with a $400. So, Kenzie, you tell me, what would you rather have as a paycheck on Monday? $100 or $400? $400. Me too. That's how much I want to make you. Because if you make $400, I make more too. Sound cool? So let's do this together. Who can we call? Urgency is a huge line, a huge word. There's always urgency. When reps are like, yeah, I got 5 demos ahead of me. And I'm like, cool. So when are they? Well, I've got one on Saturday, and then the rest of them are for next month. Right? kicked me in the stomach, right? That sucks. So we need to get back to being a little bit more disciplined about those things. Cool? All right, we're learning about this, yes? I think a lot of the answers are on there. I think a lot of the things and the solutions for even our current managers are on this script as well. But my question to you is this. Would a rep ever have a good demo if they went into a demo and didn't follow the manual word for word? No. Then why do you ever think you're doing good PDI without having this document in front of you every weekend? You want a pro tip? Anybody want a pro tip?
Yeah.
Anybody want a pro tip? Say, tell me, Nick.
Tell me, Nick.
All right, I'll tell you a pro tip. Here's your pro tip. Every document that I ever email out to you or print for you, laminate it. That way it doesn't get crumpled up. It's less likely to get lost. And you want a pro tip? Photocopy it onto a different colored sheet of paper and have a different color for every category of the business: recruiting, training, PDI, productivity, and development. And if you do that, keep them all together. You could even 3-hole punch them, throw it in a binder, and then it's not hard. Because then it's just find the binder, find the document, bust it out, and keep it in front of me at all times, right? All right, you don't want to do that because that's too hard? Cool. Save every one of these documents to your phone on a PDF so you can pull it up at any time. Jerry Hillman taught me that one. Anytime I needed something, he was like, I got it on my phone. Because he just saved them all. And he could just go on his phone, go to his docs, bam, upload it, right? I mean, your freaking phone is more powerful than most of the computers 13 years ago when I was growing up in the business, right? So are we taking advantage of the technology and the things that we have or not? All right, good. I hope we're learning. Let's move forward. We got a couple last documents. A couple last documents that we've got are going to be about driving demos and the promotion of events. The first thing is the promotion of events. So let me share this with you. I've already given it to you before, but it's the most valuable and important document that we've got, and it's called the Power of Five. I'm not going to review everything word for word in detail, but I do want to remind you that a lot of this success that a representative has to do with you following and implementing the Power of Five document. So go ahead and bust this out. You guys can take one and pass it around. And let's move forward. As far as the Power of Five document goes, we've read over this before, we've seen it before, but let's look over it, right? It talks about the difference between low, mid, and high flyers and how to really help them and your expectations to get off to a good start in their success. The importance of 5 before and 5 after, and then below that, the 5 crucial events. Guys, it's all about event-to-event management. You got to get people to events, and you got to have the culture and the intensity to get everybody there with 5 ahead, right? Nobody leaves your office without 5 or more appointments ahead at all times. So what are our 5 crucial events that we have to commit to? Number 1, AT1. And it's I don't think it's rare that you get 100% attendance, but here's the 2 things. Number 1, get 75% attendance every time. And number 2, right, make sure that you have a makeup advanced training 1 for the people who can't make it, and put that in your schedule, right? Now, we have advanced training 1 on video, and I know it will be enhanced and better by the time we get to the summer, but I would still recommend running advanced training 1 in person. Every group you ever launch needs a different type of advanced training. Some sell a lot but don't get a lot of recommendations, right? Some go out there and don't sell a ton but they get a ton of referrals. So you got to cater it to everybody, and you can't do that with a video. Makeup advanced training, that's fine. Show them the video, right? Because you got a lot of other things going on. You can even send them the link, have them log in and watch the video at home, but make sure that by team meeting, everybody has been through advanced training 1. Cool? And if we just make a commitment to that, that's even probably more important than no more no sellers. And if you're having an issue getting people to come back to advanced training 1, it's because they're not selling a lot the first weekend. That's why first weekend sales fixes everything. You want people to show back up? You want people to answer your phone call? Well, get them to sell stuff. Because when they're selling, they're feeling good. And when they're feeling good, they'll do whatever you tell them. Make sense? Second part of this is their first PC. When should that PC be booked up? Before they leave day 2 of training. Nobody leaves day 2 of training until their first PC is already scheduled. And if a PC gets rescheduled, you drop what you're doing, or sorry, if a PC gets no-showed or they say they can't make it, you drop what you're doing on the moment and you find a way to find another time. Don't let it go to the wayside, because otherwise you never will. Whatever amount of reps you have on your team is the number of reps that you should have a future PC with. It's irritating when a manager says, oh yeah, what do you have to do today? Oh, I've got to book up my future PCs. You should never need to do that, because at the end of every PC, you book up the what? The next PC. That should never be something you have in your schedule, because that doesn't demand any time except for when you're in the middle of the PC, right? So get that PC scheduled and make sure that you show up for it, right? Third thing on here is the team meeting. They don't know how great the team is until they show up. Now, some of you are probably concerned. You're like, well, what about when I open up? I've got nobody on the team. They're my first training class. Well, they probably knew that because you told them that in the training. And you know what you do? You set up every chair in your freaking office and you say, guys, let me talk about what's coming. Turn around. You see all the empty chairs? Can't wait till that's filled with all your friends and a bunch of top people. We are going to be, and you paint the vision. But you still have the team meeting. Waiting to have a meeting until you feel like you're good, waiting to have a meeting until you feel like you have people there, foolish. You run the team meeting as if you had 50 people in front of you. You run the team meeting as if you were giving a talk at SC2. And if you run events that are great, people will come, right? You've all heard the quote, if you build it, they will come. Keep that in mind, right? Let's look at the next part of this, right? AT2. It's where you teach them phone mastery. This is where you give them permission to finally call the recommendations. They've been saving them up until then. I love the question when a rep says, I don't have anybody to call. And I say, really? You had a lot of leads on your list. You've been getting a lot of referrals. And they say, oh, no. I mean, I haven't even started calling my recommendations because you told me to wait. So I'm running out of people on my initial names. Yes, you're doing the right thing. Let's keep waiting and get more of your chickens. We'll eventually get there. Here's my challenge to you. Can you create a culture in your office where people don't call their referrals until they've reached 10K? I'm a firm believer that if a representative is an average recruit, they can sell $10,000 to their network before ever needing to call a referral if they really tried. Firm believer of that. Because I never called a referral in my fast start, and I sold 12 grand. Does that make sense? I'm not saying they'll sell 10 in their fast start. I'm saying that over time, right, if they show 40 to 50 people they'll know, they'll probably sell about 10 grand. And who's more likely to support them and be patient with them when they're new, right? Plus, calling referrals is hard. Can we agree? So why would you want them to experience hard in their first 5 days? The further you can push that out, the better. Plus, the more the people they see, the more referrals they get, the bigger that list is, right? Cool. Number 5, day 11 PC. I think this is a drastic shortcoming of our division. People aren't getting it. They're not finishing their fast start and having a what's next conversation. The day 11 PC is all about reviewing their positives and negatives of their fast start. If they got an extension on their fast start, talking to them and challenging them about hitting their goal with those extra days. Talk to them about start, stop, continue, what brought success, keep doing those, and what needs to change. What are the weaknesses? What are the shortcomings? What do we need to get better at? And then giving them permission of how. In addition to that, the long-term planning, painting the picture, 5, 10, or 20 demos a week projections, and what that looks like over the course of the next 10 weeks. No matter if it's summer or non-summer, and then creating action, getting them back onto their list. I'm not going to go into detail, but again, 5 great keys to building a great team and 5 great keys to developing a great rep that are at the bottom there too. Cool? Questions or concerns about the power of 5 and what that can do for an organization or for a person? We good on that? Sweet. Let's wrap it up. We got one more document to bring up, and that document is something that has not been shared before, and I'm really, really excited to pass this one out. It's about driving demos, baby. So let's check this guy out. It's one of my favorite documents that Drew has put out, and I think it's one of the most underutilized documents that we have as well. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a stump speech and lecture for this, and then we'll go ahead and teach how to do it. When it comes to driving demos, we need to remember, oops, got to go the other way. There we go. When it comes to driving demos, we got to remember just one simple rule, and that is that every demo you ever drive equals $100. 100 net CPO, no matter what. And I'm going to walk through this concept real quick at the top and learn to manage and learn to treat your business not based on feelings, but based on facts. You want me to tell you how many you're going to launch this week? Cool. Tell me how many PRs you've scheduled. And I'll tell you how many you'll launch. You want to tell me how much you're going to sell this week? Cool. Tell me how many demos you got. And I'll tell you how much you're going to sell. Business is a numbers game. And you know what the numbers that don't matter are? The numbers that don't matter are your sales. The numbers that don't matter, and I'll be careful with this one, right? But it's your current size of your team. Because what we really get paid to do is to recruit people, right? And drive demos. That's it. Learn to measure your business through that. Raise your hand if you want to go to Madrid, Spain. Anybody down to go? Cool. It takes $125,000 in office, which is 1,250 demos in one summer. You find a way to drive 1,250 demos in the course of 17, 18 weeks this summer. You will be going to Madrid, Spain with our corporation on that trip. It's that simple. It's that simple. And here's why. Let's look at the top. 100 demos booked. Are we going to get them all completed? No. 70%, maybe, yeah. Maybe. 70% on average nationwide actually get completed, right? So what does that mean? Well, if we complete 70 demos, are they all going to be sales? No. We're probably selling about 60%. And again, this is a team average, not just an individual average, which would be 40 sales. Are they all going to be homemakers? Maybe, but probably not. And if they're 250, that's going to drop us to 10 grand. 10 grand divided by the original 100 demos means every demo equals 100 CPO. That includes reschedules, cancellations, no-shows, and no sales. There is no bad demo that can happen then. Every demo we drive is a good demo, which means when a rep calls you and says, hey, Nick, it's Rachel, and I was going to my demo, and then the customer called and rescheduled, then I can celebrate that and be positive about it because I know that just because that demo was booked, we still added what? 100 to our sales report. When Olivia calls me and says, hey, I'm at the customer's house. It was supposed to be at 4 o'clock, and it's 4:10 now. What do I do? It's not a bad thing. It's a blessing in disguise. Olivia, that's awesome. You realize you're already planning on booking that demo and working an hour anyway. So what I'm going to have you do is go to Sonic, get a drink, come back. Maybe they're just running late. And if they're not late, or if they're not show up, just sit in your car and make calls. Maybe they'll eventually show up. And if they don't, guess what? You can use that time to make 20 more calls, book up 2 more demos. And I'll definitely gladly take 2 more demos ahead of you and 1 possible sale today. That's exciting. Oh, and by the way, I just want to let you know, Olivia, I had a girl named Melissa. Melissa had the exact same thing happen to her. She went to Sonic, got a drink. When she came back, they were just running late. You know what she said? Sold a Homemaker +8. How cool would it be if in 10 minutes you show back up and they're there and they buy a set? Well, let's not get negative. Go get a drink, get your mind off it, come back, and if they're still not there, can I count on you to make 20 calls? Do you see the instruction and the energy and the passion in my voice, the conviction that I have that they're going to be okay? They need that from you every single time.
Nugget.
So let's talk. How can and where can you drive demos? Well, when you look at this list, it's pretty fantastic. Daily phone jams. Fill in the blank, right? An assistant manager plus 1 rep at the phone jam. But here's the deal. How can it be considered a phone jam if they didn't book 3 demos? Seriously? Oh, you had a phone jam? How many calls you make? Like 5? Then my mom called me. She said I had to go home. So then that wasn't a phone jam. You made 5 calls. That's all you did. And when you went home, did you make up the rest? No. She said I did do chores. Okay. Well, right? That's when it gets difficult. When they're just making excuses to be positive and have passion. Just want to choke them. All right. Just kidding. But not really. I actually want to stab. Just kidding. Okay. Anyway. But I don't. Okay. Glad this on recording will be publicly used. All right, so 1 rep at the phone jam, 3 demos. Well, that means every phone jam you added $300 for the day, $2,100 for the week. If you have 5 reps at a phone jam, 1 phone jam could add $10,000 to your weekly sales report. Right? If you do that 12 times, you win. Good. You had 1 phone jam with 10 people there. Interesting. 5 people there. Gosh, look at 10. That's 21 grand. Holy crap. You need to have standards that actually get people to their goals, right? So you need to keep that in mind, yes? All right, cool. Let's look at team meetings. Team phone jams, right? Team phone jams, like on a team meeting Wednesday or Thursday or Sunday night. We used to do paycheck meetings on Sunday night. Well, that's where you get the masses, right? 75% of your team. You got a team of, 20 people. Well, you get 15 there for the meeting. Look at that. Man, what that can do. And then you start to layer this, don't you? You start to, and by the way, Kevin Barth right now, his office shipped $13,000 in new business last week, $28,000 total, and he only has 3 phone jams other than the team meeting every week. They have them on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Sunday night. Those are the 3 during the school year. Now, during the summer, dude, we have a phone jam every morning and every night, basically, right? But it's all about tracking demos. That's it. How many demos you got ahead? Training group. This is where it gets exciting. You have 5 in your training. Well, every rep should have at least 7 demos booked before they leave training. 35 demos, why would they not sell $3,500? On the low end, you should be expecting $1,000 PPR, right? Because they showed their best what? 5. So if you're running training right now and you're not expecting at least a $500 pop, well, it's because you didn't drive enough demos. That's the only reason. Get back to that. Think about advanced training 1, 2, and 3, right? Driving 5 demos out of every single person ahead, or just driving 2 that they book at the event. How much more? And by the way, you'll be a lot more excited to show up to your events when you know that it's adding that much CPO to your sales report that week. You know, I'm fired up to show up to team meetings because I know when I show up to a team meeting and there are that many people there, we're adding thousands of dollars to our sales report. I remember back in 2018 when Bailey was the pilot, right? I remember some phone jams, some team meetings where we had like 40 people in attendance. 40 people in attendance at 3 demos booked a piece, that's 120. That means I added $12,000 to our sales report because of a 2-hour meeting. Heck yeah, I'm in. And now I'm so much more committed to getting people to come and handling their BS excuses on why they can't. Get reps to the office and get them on the phone, right? And then below that, PDI. Every PDI call, you get them to book 1 more demo. Now, yeah, you should spend 5 minutes making an impact, talking to them, coaching them, right? But then you should say, hey, when's the next time you're going to get on the phone? Great. How many demos you want to book? Awesome. When you do it, can at the end of the phone jam, you text me all your demo times? You got a team of 10 people. Every day you do PDI, they all get 1 more demo. Well, all of a sudden you're driving 10 demos minimum every day, which means there's never a time that you have less than a 7K week. If you have a 7K week every week for 17 weeks, who knows the math on that? Who knows the math on that? Do it right now. Bust out your calculator. Right?
Every 7 days.
If this is all you do all summer, is you drive 10 demos a day, every day, that's 7K weeks, yes? 7K weeks for 18 weeks this summer. What's that get you to? What was that? What was that? Oh, Madrid, Spain. Every single person hits the trip. The only reason you didn't is because you chose not to. It's a choice. Winning the trip is a choice. And the last one is PCs. They show up early. And honestly, if I'm going to give somebody 30 minutes to an hour of my time, they better have 5 demos ahead. I know there are managers out there that are cutthroat. First question they ask isn't how you're doing. First question they ask is how many demos you got ahead of you. And if the answer is any less than what? If they say, cool, why don't you jump on the phone and when you get 5, we'll meet. But until then, there's nothing I can really teach you. Sorry. Because whatever I teach you isn't going to be paying off for either one of us anyway. You're not going to apply it because you won't have a way to. So why didn't you get to 5 and then it'll be worth both of our times to sit down and make a plan. Not trying to be rude, just trying to be honest and help you succeed and hit your goals and make more money than all your friends this summer. Isn't that your motivation? Cool. Let me know when you're ready. You be that tough coach once, I can assure you that they'll show up to every PC for the rest of the summer with 5+ demos ahead. Train your people for failure or train your people success. The choice is yours. So, I hope you've learned a lot from tonight's 1-hour lecture. I'm going to challenge you to stop thinking about your future in terms of sales or quality clients, and instead start thinking about your future in terms of demos ahead. It's the only thing that matters, guys. How many you got set for training, right? Which is based on how many PRs you book and how many demos does your team have ahead of you. Every single week that I see our team put up a sales report, whether it's 2K, 10K, 20K, 40K, it's always within a few demos of the $100 per demo rate. And in many cases, right, if it is off, it's not off on the low end, it's off on the high end. It's the fact that we did 350 demos, we sold 42 grand because we had a couple of ass kickers that knocked out 10K fast starts. You know what that does tell me? What if we would have gotten our 400 demos for the week? We probably would have sold 55 grand. But never have I seen it in our report where we've done 350 demos and we only sold 22K. Does it make sense? So get back to tracking demos. If your office is not using Web PDI right now, you have my permission to call your manager out on that and get them to use it immediately. It is the best tool you could ever use for tracking and analyzing your business. And it was created by the #1 division manager ever in corporate history who has beaten Drew Frank. You realize his name's Isaac Tolpin. He owns multiple companies, including Conveyor. You've probably heard of that, including Throwing Boulders, okay, which is the inventors of many of the apps out there that you use. Even the phoning app is made by them. The Web PDI app is made by them, everything. And he's the only division manager ever to have a division that did over $10 million in sales for a year in corporate history. He's the guy who came up with the idea for Web PDI and then paid the developers to make the app and make the program. because he said this: the only issue I ever had as a division manager was knowing how much we would sell for the week. And I could never know how much we would sell for the week until I could accurately calculate how many demos we had driven. So I made WebPDI to have a system to know how many demos we had ahead, so I knew exactly how much we'd sell every week. Now we have that system, but the system doesn't work if we don't work the system. Make sense? It's unacceptable to not be using this, and it's not going away. It's going to be there now, tomorrow, next campaign, and next summer, right? So you can either embrace it, just like your fears, watch the videos, learn it, and start mastering it, or you can continue to ignore it, and the business and your results will most likely stay the same. Fair enough? So let's talk about assignments before we wrap up. We'll jump into a quick phone jam before we back on for the division meeting tonight. I'm going to kick it off at 6:30 because I wanted more time for the opening comments. I want to make sure we have enough time to really unpack them. Assignments, number 1. So your Olean set. If you're not going to Olean, sell a homemaker anyway. Why not? Second assignment is to make sure that you've got 5 ahead. If you don't have 5 ahead, get 5 ahead. Tonight you've got a great phone jam to make that happen. Let's get to it and never drop below it. Number 3 is to reorganize your customer list. If we just talked about the most important tracking system for demos, how about the most important tracking system for self? Do you have a system for tracking all of your leads? Do you know the difference between your 5-star leads and your 3-star leads and your 1-star leads? You don't want to call them stars. How about your MAC clients and your non-MAC clients? Keep it simple, right? How about your best 5 or top 20 and just the rest? How about your fresh leads versus your, right, older leads? You got to have a system, so create it. And by the way, we're only 12 weeks away from the January incentive trip. You should be working towards Mission 250. You want to guarantee going on a 4-day, 3-night all-inclusive trip to the Caribbean? Get 250 leads on your list because you won't have a problem. You'll be all right. But one of the number 1 reasons why people miss goals is they don't have enough leads. Next assignment, keep reading. You need to keep reading. If you haven't been reading lately, you need to. We've got 4 books. Don't forget. The 1-Minute Manager, The Total Money Makeover, The Dream Manager, and The Leader Who Had No Title. The 5th book that I gave you tonight would be Freedom from Fear by Mark Madison, and I highly recommend that. If you want the authors of the other books, don't forget it's on the leadership packet you were sent to the beginning of this. Cool? Finish strong for your Olean push. All right? And let's make sure that no matter what, everyone's hitting triple threat for the fall. Great meeting. Thank you for your time.